Welcome everybody to Fat Guys on Mumble. Fat Guys on a Little Podcast. I'm your co-host Steve Markin, always joined by
Charles.
And today we have some unique things.
You started this shit.
Yeah, no, some more. We're gonna
the Renaissance Festival.
We're gonna finish up our Scottish adventure today, and it looks pretty gross. But before we do anything, let me say something real quick. I want to. We don't usually do this crap, but thoughts and prayers to everyone down on the East Coast there.
Did it finally make landfall? The Dorian make landfall?
Yeah, Kim was down there.
Oh, yeah, in the Carolinas?
They told everybody to get out. And so she had to catch a plane in Charlotte instead of Georgia.
Oh, wow.
And Justin and his family are headed up here, I guess, in a car.
Oh, okay.
So they abandoned town for about a week.
Yeah, and then Carrie's son's father, her ex-husband or whatever, is up here with his now wife and all that kind of stuff, too. So
He's remarried?
Yeah, he's remarried.
Oh, I was not aware of that.
Yeah, but, I know you're really concerned about that.
Yeah, Pill, be quiet. But thoughts and prayers to everybody and hurricane and whatever. Hopefully everyone gets out.
Because it was supposed to hit just Florida, Puerto Rico, then just Florida, and now they're saying it's going north of that or whatever.
Yeah, and of course, Justin and them are in Savannah, Georgia, right there on the water, and they were told to get out. So everyone's bailing and leaving the East Coast.
I don't know. Like it's a big want in my life to live on water, but man, I'm scared. I'll be honest with you. Like I want to live up in a building. I don't want to live on ground floor at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, up in a building with the winds, I don't know how.
Well, they in theory they construct them in a fashion to withstand that, but. It all sounds good on paper, right?
Yeah, I heard of some towers are supposed to withstand an airplane
crash.
No. Anyways, so like we said, no guests this week. We might have one next week. We might have a different taste test next week, Charles. I was informed by a man in Chicago who likes to eat.
William Lockhart?
Yes.
Okay.
That at White Castle, there is a thing called a butter cake.
A butter cake?
A butter cake.
Is it like crack pie from Milk Bar? I'm assuming it is.
I don't know what
I bet you it is.
I was told they were delicious after he ate 37 of them.
Yeah, well, type 2 diabetes BV told you about a butter cake.
So he was up here, and I guess him and Abby was late night. He went to get some Impossible Burgers for her. They wanted some dessert.
Oh, he was being as completely.
They have those little cakes. They're on a stick. They're only like $1. And they got like all kinds of different flavors. And Bill just said, give me every flavor, throw it in a bag. But he said the butter cake ones are delicious. So maybe I'll get some butter cakes
once
we
leave jolly old England.
Yeah, now we're leaving Scotland. We're going to head to the Castle of White and try. And speaking of which, for our taste test last week, we went to Great Lakes Crossing yesterday. I thought I'd take the family, get some Labor Day sales. Well, apparently I wasn't the only one with that.
With that thought?
Yeah, because that place was packed.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, wow. I was not expecting that.
Well, Labor Day is becoming like a new big shopping day.
Yeah. People don't camp like they used to. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. But I went to the Burger King there and got me an Impossible Burger again.
Yeah.
I like them. Michelle didn't care for it, and Holly, of course, she hates hamburgers.
I would still argue that if you blind taste Michelle, I think it's a lot of it comes down to like mentality.
She's always like that. If I tell her what it's done, and then when I don't,
she's like a child.
Yeah, she really is. I could really notice it.
Yeah.
Can you though?
Yeah.
But anyways, so today we're back in Scotland. We're finishing up Scotland because last week I went to the Renaissance Festival, tried a Scottish egg, which made me double over in pain after a half hour of eating it. And today, Charles explained what we have.
So my wife is annoyingly Scottish, and so she knows of Ackroyd's Bakery. Ackroyd's Bakery ships these things all over the United States, apparently.
Pretty much, if you're Scottish, you know about this bakery, especially in Michigan.
And she went there as her mom's birthday. She picked her up some, and these are from Heather's childhood. She ate them all the time. This is a Scottish meat pie, okay, from Ackroyd's Bakery. Now, to go along with it, Heather picked up some taste treats.
Okay.
She got the quintessential sauce that goes with it. This is HP sauce.
What does the HP stand for?
I don't know. Her Majesty's Princess. I don't know. I'm making that up. But what was funny to me, this cost almost $8.
Ooh.
Yeah, so apparently there's a big-time douche tax attached to a lot of this stuff.
But it looks like Heinz 57 sauce right now.
Yeah, is what it looks like to me. But it's funny, it's made in the Netherlands. So this like quintessential Britishy thing is made in the Netherlands.
Put some of that little dish there.
Yeah, I got you a little dish. And then the other thing we have, it's going to be like Heinz 57 legit. It won't come out. It looks very brown. There's no red to it or nothing. Yeah. Give it a whiff too, Steve. Let us know what you think. We also have the prawn cocktail Walker's chips.
It smells like an A1 sauce.
It does it? Uh-oh, Steve's got just going for the HP. And we got the prawn cocktail, which anyone who Steve is not a fan of the HP.
It's not bad, but it's weird.
It's definitely different.
Yeah.
So anyone who watches Last Week Tonight, this is that terrible where Boris Johnson was going on and on about like how they're taking away the Britishness of him because he won't get his prawn cocktail Walker chips. And it's a weird thing. But if you watch Last Week Tonight, anyway, long story short, prawns are shrimps here in the United States, but this is going to be a shrimp cocktail potato chip. So let me get my meat pie as Steve kind of tells you what he thinks of them.
So
they look disgusting.
It looks like a poor man's pot pie right now. I'm going to break it up here a little bit with the fork. Where's the meat? Where's the beef? It
does have like this smells like a difference between Heinz 57 and A1 had a baby is what it smells like to me.
So I'm going to try the meat pie without the sauce first. Now the meat looks a little gray.
It's super gray. It looks like it's just meat and like breading.
It's like
Is
someone
there anything in it?
browned some hamburger and stuck it in a pastry. So let me try. There's no vegetables that I could see.
There's nothing. So to
There's
your
no
equate
sauce
of like a pot, and they're it looks super dry but greasy at the same time.
It's a little salty.
A little salty?
It's not terrible.
It's not something you'd crave, though, is the ultimate
Yeah,
point.
like how her mom wants it for her birthday. She's insane.
I think that when you're Scottish, you're just annoying about it. Does that make sense? Like,
Yes.
you just overdo it. It is very gray on the inside of this. It tastes like ground meat in a pot pie container.
Is yours a little salty, or is it
It's
just
super salty.
Yeah,
I can feel my blood pressure going up.
They
as I
like the
speak.
salt in Scotland, so now I'm gonna dip it in the generic A1 sauce.
It legit is like browned meat. I don't think there's any seasoning besides salt on it. I don't dig this at all.
No, the A1 sauce makes it a little, or the HP sauce makes it a little more bearable.
Yeah, stay on brand, Steve.
Sorry. It's a unique taste,
I find it just disgusting.
and I think I'm done. I mean, maybe if you had some peas and some potatoes.
Yeah, why? So pot pies exist in America.
Yeah, I don't.
It's super dry.
It's super salty.
How can it be
super
greasy
dry.
and dry at the same time?
I don't understand this. It's like defying nature.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this at all. And then the HP sauce tastes like I said, like it tastes like A1 and Heinz 57 had a baby. Take the two of them. Don't pay the $7. Just buy those two and mix them together.
Pour over there. I'm gonna vomit.
Yeah, this is not bueno.
So a meat pie is very salty, but very dry and very greasy all at the same time. So
how
it
can
kind of
something be dry and greasy at the same time?
It makes no sense. I don't understand. It's like they took some hamburger.
They forgot to put the taco seasoning in the taco meat.
They put a lot of salt on the hamburger, and then they jammed it in a pot pie shell and didn't give you anything else with it.
You ever have loose meat sandwiches?
Yeah, but I put stuff on them.
Oh, you put a little Lowry's, a little seasoning in it. Yeah.
Well, or if it's a loose meat, you might want to put mustard or chili on the top of it. Or you ever do that?
Yeah, all the time.
Some
I love a loose
onions.
meat. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. Zhuzh it up a little bit.
Yeah.
This is terrible.
Hey, you can put that over there, please.
And people are like fiending for these. So like, and I want the folks at home. It's oddly, Steve's especially, is very wet.
Yeah, but it doesn't taste. I don't know. It defies nature.
Yeah, that is gross. I'm sorry.
Throw those at Heather and her mom.
So there's our live taste test of the Scottish meat pies. Now let me.
Now,
get these
if I had a choice, just based on flavor, not knowing that my stomach's going to double over in pain, I would take the Scottish egg over the meat pie.
because it probably has flavor.
Yes, it has flavor. Now, you're going to be doubled over in grease pain a half hour later.
These prawn cocktails, get a whiff on those.
Ooh, I don't even like fish.
Well, okay.
Prawn cocktail chips. Now, Are these? Where did you get these from?
The same place. Aykroyd's has like a whole douchey section there.
Oh wow!
So I mean, they're playing to like anyone who's.
So
from,
where is Aykroyd's again?
It's in
Aykroyd's?
Plymouth, I believe. It's
So
on.
I know never to go there.
Yeah, exactly. These again are just super salty.
They don't really taste shrimpy. They taste almost like sour cream and onion, almost a little bit.
I think they overdid it with like the cocktail sauce taste to them.
Yeah, they really killed the fish stuff.
Yeah, the cocktail sauce.
Those aren't as bad as the meat pie, but I would never eat those again either.
But they're very salty.
Yeah.
Again, they're another. What's everyone's blood pressure like overseas?
We're all going to go up to
Oh my
blood pressure
God.
pills. I just renewed my prescription today.
So-
prescription.
To go around the room, HP sauce. What do you think about HP?
That
sauce?
was out of the three. Is probably the best. It's just like they took Heinz 57 and mixed it with a little A1, and
That's
gave
totally
it-
what it is.
That's all it is. So it's not bad, but I don't. It's not great. I
It's
wouldn't
not
put it-
something you'd crave.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it on anything. So that was fine. The meat pie is just gross. No, if they made a meat pie with some potatoes, onions, and peas or something in it,
It's literally
with a
just
little
meat
gravy.
and coating.
Yeah, it's salty, it's dry, and it's greasy all at the same time. I can't. It defies logic. No, I'm never gonna eat another meat pie in my life.
Yeah, I'm no on that meat pie.
And the chips aren't terrible,
the chips are probably the better of the three for me today.
but I would never buy a bag of those. I'll tell you that much.
So your trip to Scotland is going to go with a Scotch egg, is what you're saying?
Yeah, but I can only eat a little bit because I get stomach ache from
The
it. So
gut bomb coming in.
there's got to be something else in Scotland people eat, right?
Yeah, haggis, and I'm not doing that. I'm out for that one.
What is haggis exactly?
That's that sheep intestines that they stuff like sausagey wise with a bunch
I'm
of
done.
rice.
Never mind. Not eating that. All right, so we're done with Scotland. We're gonna move to the Castle of White
Yeah,
next week.
take us to a castle because those are 2 or 3 swings and a miss for me.
Woo, nothing was good. Let's go back to the day we ate the cinnamon biscuits. All right.
Yeah, the
Let's just
cinnamon
try them
biscuits
each
are
week.
great, yeah.
Because that
Was that the last good taste test we had?
maybe
Yeah, sounds about
we had
right.
that weird Korean candy. That was gross.
Yeah, with the rice paper.
There is a mac and at KFC. I don't know if you've seen these. The mac and cheese bowls. Have you seen
Well,
those?
I mean,
That's not
I'll
much
eat
of
it, but I'm just saying.
it's just chicken and mac and cheese. Can't really screw that up. So there's your taste test. Yeah, it's all gross. I'm sorry, Scotland. I loved Braveheart, but I don't know about your food.
I love the Isle of Skye is the best place on the planet.
There's
Earth.
got to be a Scottish meal out there that's just good, right? I imagine.
Well, what's bangers and mash is just mashed potatoes and like sausages and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not a big sausage fan though, guy. Are you?
I like breakfast sausage.
Yeah, covered in maple syrup or something. I mean,
You don't eat like a breakfast sausage sandwich or nothing like
well,
that.
yeah, not a ton, but I prefer bacon over. If I had a choice between bacon or sausage, I'm taking bacon. I don't know. All right.
Get that out of your mouth. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that meat pie. That
That
meat
was
pie.
so much
It, like I
salt.
said, like
They got a low sodium version.
you got the sodium free.
Ooh, man! And
was
her
nice.
mother wants them for her
Oh
birthday.
my god, she got.
I'd be
Heather
offended.
bought her mom a dozen of them for $40.
A dozen meat
A
pies.
dozen meat pies.
Who'd she
dude.
get them to? The homeless?
I don't know, man.
Her dad eats those?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Do they make a thing of brown gravy?
That whole thing is just gross. I think they're in love with the idea of Scotland.
you
Because
need
the
some-
other thing that Heather is all about are the things called Empire biscuits too. She bought some Empire
What are
biscuits.
those?
I don't know. I don't know.
Those don't sound too bad.
Dude, Scottish shortbread's gross.
What is You've ate more Scottish stuff than I have.
I'm married to a Scottish douche who grew up eating.
Apparently very clumsy.
Yeah.
Her and her daughter. So anyways, okay. Now, I saw a lot of stuff this week.
I saw a handful of it with you.
Yeah. Did you see Rocket Man?
Yes. No, I did not. I'm sorry. I did not see Rocket Man, but that's with the Taron Egerton with the
Yes.
biopic.
Basically, the Kingsman kid is what everyone knows him as.
Okay.
He was the Kingsman
Yeah.
kid. He plays Elton John. It's a movie about Elton John. The problem with this movie is the fact that Bohemian Rhapsody came out last year.
Oh, it's a victim of timing. So what is that? It's Ray to Walk the Line, where like Ray was so amazing with Jamie Foxx, and then Walk the Line came out and kind of gutted.
And they tried to do their own thing different from Bohemian Rhapsody, if that makes any sense. Bohemian Rhapsody was a biopic with music in it. This is a musical with a little bit of biopic. in it.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's all Elton John music, but it's not him singing. Or even
Tiny
the kid.
Dancer is one of the most amazing songs to ever be.
Yeah, but he's not the only one that sings it. So he starts singing it. his friends, because it busts out in the musical. His mom and dad
so
is
it's
singing
like a
it.
full-fledged musical.
Yeah, so that's kind of a bummer. I mean, if you're into musicals,
If you're into Elton John, too.
yeah, I mean, it's not a bad movie, but at the same time, it's not nowhere near.
I
the
got like
same.
a bad aftertason of HP sauce right
so do
now.
I,
Just so we're all on the
I don't know
same
if it's
page.
that. I can't make up my mind if it's the sauce or the chip.
Oh my god,
It's one of the two.
I'm still chewing on something Scottish over here, so sorry to interrupt your Elton John talk.
I wish I would have brought some mints or something today. So it's not a bad movie, but here's another funny thing is the kid who plays him. He's from the Kingsmen. That guy's in great shape. Elton John was never in this.
He was
shape.
when he was
was a little
svelte
doughy.
when he was younger.
But I mean, there's parts where he's walking around the pool and the guy's got abs and stuff. I know Elton John never had no abs.
Well, you know,
right?
yeah, gay Elton John. Like that's exactly how I look. Like, wait a minute.
yeah. So it's not a bad movie. I would have preferred it to be more of a biopic and then actually see him singing the stuff. The one thing
I would assume he's got some raciness to his life, right?
well, it's your standard rock star 101. A lot of drinking, a lot of drugs.
Oh, okay.
They don't skimp on the gay sex. Like
I'm listening.
Rob Stark, the guy who played Rob Stark
Yeah.
from Game of Thrones, he plays his first love/business manager. And there's a pretty graphic scene where they both get butt naked and roll around on the
Dude,
bed.
are they spitting on their hand? Broke
Not
man?
quite broke
Ah.
out, but it's heavy makeout, heavy rubbing.
Oh my god, I
heavy
gotta check this
butt
out
cheeks in the
tonight,
air.
folks.
I know they're two straight actors, but after doing that scene, there's a little gayness in you somewhere.
I don't think you're gay as long as you're getting paid, though. Like, how much money are they
So
getting
every
paid?
gay porn actor's straight.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
I don't
if you're getting
know.
that, if you're getting that, you know,
Ugh.
Rocket Man money, I don't
I
know.
just don't see Robert De Niro.
I'll
doing
roll
that
around with a
scene.
dude for the right amount of
I
cash.
mean, I don't see Robert De Niro doing a scene like that. That's all I'm saying. But it's a little rough. So where Bohemian Rhapsody kind of skirted a little bit around that, this doesn't. It goes headlong right into it. So, but it's not a bad movie. Just it's more of a musical than a biopic. And
Yeah.
that the part that bums
How
me
long is it?
out. It's 2 solid hours.
2 solid hours of a lot of singing.
Yeah, musical. Yeah, so not the greatest. Now, the only thing I did learn from it that I was not aware of, because I mean, Elton John is actually a little before both our times. 70s is when she hit his
I
peak.
just love. You could play Tiny Dancer right now, and I just check out. I just love
Every
that
song he sings is good in that movie.
Yeah.
You'll know every hit.
Yeah.
But he didn't write any of it.
Bernie Taupin is
Yeah,
the
he
guy's
has some
name?
writing partner,
Yeah.
and they show how they meet in the movie.
I don't know how that works.
They're
Yeah.
like brothers. Like they get together, still together this day, 50 years, and he's wrote it all, and Elton John just does the music and sings. So I never knew that. I never knew he had a
So you
writing
learn
partner.
something about.
I did
yeah.
learn one thing. So
Yeah.
that his
Well,
parents.
you learned how to roll around with a dude. What's the other thing you learned?
His dad's a dick. That and he liked the rent. Now, I watched 2 series this week, and the same criticism could be said about both of them.
Did you watch? So I watched The Dark Crystal. Mm-hmm. Did you watch the whole thing? It's 10 episodes.
I watched the first 3 episodes, and I went to the last 2 because I was losing interest quick.
Yeah, I was about to say, I have the same review, but okay, go ahead.
So Carnival Row.
This is what we talked about last week. This is
Yes.
the Orlando Bloom Amazon Prime show with Cara Delevingne is the chick's name?
Yeah, she was a supermodel.
Yeah.
She has like Colin Farrell eyebrows.
And it's like steampunky /
It's-
fantasy
it's
fairy
more
thing?
fantasy than steampunk.
Okay.
Uh,
It looked beautiful.
yeah, but it stays gray and dingy the whole movie.
Okay.
So you ever watch a movie where they show England in the 1800s?
Is this a movie? I thought this was a show.
Well, I'm just saying,
Oh.
like you've seen movies where every time they show England in 1800s, it's always gray, dingy.
Yeah.
The whole series is like that.
Well, that's how Peaky Blinders is, and Peaky Blinders is one of the most amazing shows on television.
I mean, I imagine there was a sun eventually in England, right? But
I don't know what the way that food was.
so it's 8 episodes, 50 minutes an episode. The problem is, it's just okay. Here's the story. It's not England. It's called the Burgs.
Okay.
It's fictional England.
Yeah.
Then there's fictional Ireland, which is called Feyland or something. I forget what it's called. That's where all the fairies live, all the fairies and the fantasy creatures. Then there's kind of like a fictional France called the Pact.
Okay.
The Pact decides to invade the fictional Ireland, and then the Burg or fictional England comes to defend them.
Defend them. Okay.
Well, they lose the fight. The fake France takes it over. All the Fae leave and become immigrants into
Okay.
England,
So far, I'm with
and they all move into a slum called Carnival Row. That's where the name comes from. In the meantime, Orlando Bloom served in the war, and now he's a police detective. And like I told you before going in, there is some kind of murders going on in
People
Carnival
are
Row.
offering people in Carnival Row. Okay.
Yeah, he gets called in to hey, let's.
Which
figure
I'm kind of bummed about that. That's what it boils down to, is a murder mystery.
Yeah, and there's about 4 subplots with it. All subplots except for one and him. It all ties into him. It's all about Orlando Bloom's character by the end.
Okay.
So it all comes together by the last episode, and it all starts to make sense and stuff. But the last episode, maybe 2 episodes, really good. But man, the 6 episodes getting there is a drag.
Oh, yeah?
There's no humor in this at all. None.
Well, that's okay.
Sometimes you need to break it up a little bit, and then you realize Orlando Bloom is just not a charismatic guy.
Okay.
Like Will Smith pulled off Bright, even though Bright wasn't the greatest movie, but you still enjoy watching Will Smith.
Okay.
He's an entertaining guy.
You don't think Orlando Bloom can hold it down?
No, he's just so. It's like,
wow.
And and it's just a slog, and everything's great, and everything. Why did he do this? And I don't.
And I just the trailer looked amazing to me.
It should have been a 2-hour movie, not an 8-hour miniseries.
It's one of those ones where they fleshed out 10 episodes. And dude, you could have cut a lot of this.
Yes, yeah. And
was it at its core? Were you trying to unravel what the story is behind all this stuff, or was it just a murder mystery?
In the end, the murders are for a reason.
Of an overarching issue in this area.
Yeah. Okay. Well, tied to him.
Okay.
So the murders are really end up being tied to him. I'm not ruining too much by telling you that. I'm not telling you who the murderer is or anything like that. But it's hard to explain. It's like, so that's going on. And then also on top of the murders and him figuring out, there's the main fairy, who's the supermodel chick, was in love with him back during the war. Then they had a falling out. So now you got this weird love story with them kind of mixed in there. Then you got a subplot of there's other creatures that they're like half ram. They got big ram's horns.
Okay.
And they're called pucks, and they're kind of like servants and supposed to be like black slave type deals. Okay. And there's this one that risen up and has money, and there's this other high end family.
It sounds interesting.
It sounds better when I explain it than when you watch it.
Like it sounds like, okay, like we fleshed out a universe. Like what?
Yeah. So like the first 2 episodes is fleshing out and introducing everything, introducing the problem. The 3rd episode is a full 1-hour flashback to the war with him meeting the girl. Then the 4th kind of picks up and goes from there. The last 2, you just watch the first episode and the last 2. It's not a bad. Yeah. So that tells me it could have been a 3-hour movie. Yeah.
Cut the middle chunks.
It's kind of a drag. That's what I find. Michelle felt the same way. It was just like, ugh. And Orlando Bloom's a handsome man, but he needs to get a little charisma to him.
Oh, yeah?
Crack a joke, a smile, something, goddammit.
Legolas can't just...
man, if you think about it, if you really look back, I mean, Lord of the Rings didn't do much, but he made at least a couple jokes in there about the box and, about the dwarf. Here, it's like, oh, everything's so serious. And then they knew it was running slow and boring because they would randomly throw in sex scenes. I mean, like abrupt sex scenes.
Like a fairy sex scene?
Yeah, or he's banging his landlady. And it would just like, okay, they're talking. They would just flash in the next scene. He's like, she's leaning against the door, titties out, bouncing around.
So they know they had to spice it up a
little
bit.
They knew it. Like all of a sudden you'll see there will be there's a fairy sex scene and 2 fairies floating in the air. So that to spice it up and keep you interested.
Jeez.
So I don't know. It's renewed for season 3 or season 2. They really got. I'll read the reviews before I go to that one.
So what would you give that out of 10?
6. Ooh. I wouldn't want to see it. Like when The Boys ended on Amazon, I wanted season 2 to happen tomorrow. I was like, oh, that was fun. I loved it. It was a great show.
Yeah.
This ended. I'm like, when they get season 2, maybe I'll watch it. I don't know. So that's the kind of reaction I had to this one.
So now the other one, I was going to flip the order a little bit. You watched The Dark Crystal. It's called The Age of Resistance. And I watched the first episode of it, but I also did what I told you about. I went back and watched the OG Dark Crystal before I watched this. And I got to tell you, we're going to disagree on it. I thought it looked amazing. I think the puppetry of it and the blending of the environments in 4K, there's something to be said about puppets and practical visual effects that I'm endeared to and I love. With that being said, the story of it, we're going to the prequel. This series takes place before the movie, talking about all the Gelflings and all this kind of stuff. And I'm with Steve. I was a little bit like, okay, like this first episode,
it is that by 10.
The other issue too the worst animation of the puppetry is the Gelflings.
That's what I was going to tell you.
And it's all Gelflings all the time. Like
and they look the weirdest.
Yeah,
like
the
their faces
Skeksis
don't move.
are amazing.
I still
and
can't say that word. Skeksis. It so screws me up.
Skeksis.
The evil Gonzos.
Yeah, and then even the other ones, the kind of the whatever the weird ones they possess and all that kind
and
of
even the
podlings
witch.
are
The
there.
witch looks good. I had the same exact review.
And they try to flesh you out to all these different. It's kind of like Lord of the Rings on the basis of like Rivendell and all.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
give you 8 different versions of these Gelflings.
Yeah.
I didn't do what you did. I'm gonna try to get through it because I do have a soft spot for puppetry. I
God,
can't
I
get.
agree with you so much on all that. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, it looks beautiful.
God, it looks so
But those main
good.
elf little creatures look terrible. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was hoping they would
They can't
spice them
animate.
up.
So now, with that being said, I watched the Crystal Calls. Have you watched that documentary that's on there?
No. Well, you really went deep.
I told you I got a soft spot for puppetry. I just don't know something about because like if you look at like the original Star Wars movies with Frank Oz puppeteering Yoda, and then to see him CG, it's just not the same. It loses some kind of magic when they do that.
Yeah.
And there's the reason why the original OG Dark Crystal still kind of holds up is because it was practical. It was all puppets and it was all this. And to this day, I didn't realize that the studio mascot of Magoo is a mystic. You know the big like if you look at him, it looks just like Magoo. And I had like a flashback to the Goo being alive still and stuff like that. But I got a soft spot for puppetry and the Dark Crystal stuff. But with that being said, it's a tough ask to go to a full universe of nothing
10
but
hours.
Gelflings. Yeah, it's tough.
I'll fully admit I cheated. I watched the first 3 episodes, and then I just said I can't take it. I got to watch the last 2 because they're a solid 60 minutes every episode.
Yeah,
There's no skimping.
So again, that documentary, the crafting of this show is amazing.
Oh, I'm not denying that. It looks great.
Oh my
Except
god!
for the main characters, the Gelflings. The worst characters are the ones they spend the most time
They
with.
did bring in some CG environmental stuff too,
a
like
little
the
bit.
swooping and stuff like that. It's just, God, it looks beautiful.
Because I recently watched the
I
old
feel
movie.
like it's. I'm sorry. Yeah.
You remember 2 or 3 months ago, I watched the old movie. Now you recently
Yeah.
watched it. And even when I watched the old movie, I was thinking, man, those Gelflings just don't look. The little main elf guy looks weird. And so I was hoping when the series came out that they would tweak the design of them a little bit.
And again, in Crystal Calls, they talk about this. So they initially tried to do puppetry mixed with CG. They were going to CG the Gelflings, and I would say that probably could have been a better way to go.
Yeah, because they look very Muppety. in
Yeah,
some
it's
scenes.
just they can't. And if you look again at that documentary, there's such a small puppet. I feel like they couldn't put the animatronics in there that they need to
that was the
flesh them
problem,
out.
yeah.
They're such a small like armatures. Or
I mean, when you
whatever.
got like the original Ninja Turtle movie, their heads were animatronic and stuff like that.
But if
by
you
Jim
watch the
Henson.
Skeksis in the OG Dark Crystal movie, had like where you could see their heartbeat and their neck, because there was a bigger puppet.
Yeah.
I think that what they don't
they
realize
should
is
have made
making
the Gelflings full size.
yeah, and then that's what it boils down to. But
So I don't know how much of the story you got. Did you get a lot of the story? in?
I'm working my way up to it. Like I said, I'm really early on. I just got
So
through the first
essentially, the
episode.
story is say the word. The bad
The
guys
Skeksis,
are like royalty now. So the old
because they obtain the crystal and they have the
well,
crystal.
the witch lady leaves and leaves them in charge of the crystal because she's traveling planets. I
Okay.
guess. So she leaves them in charge of the dark crystal / truth crystal, and for thousands of years, everything's going cool. And then eventually,
then the world's dying from
they're
them being in
dying
charge.
and they're getting old.
Yeah.
So they want to somehow, and that's what happens. They take a Gelfling,
The
and
essence.
suck the essence out.
Yes.
Basically, puppet Botox. They
Yeah.
get. So then they
And
start.
they address that in the OG movie as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. So this
They
kinda,
had gotten rid of all the Gelflings, getting all the essence out of all of them.
and yeah, so that's what leads to the war and the resistance because none of the tribes are following each other. The problem is, it takes so long to get to that point.
Steve's like, man, cut it down to a movie.
It should have been a movie, not a miniseries.
Yeah.
I really feel that way. You made 2 movies because they leave it up. Spoilers, whatever. The Gelflings defend themselves, and the sketch evil Gonzos go back to their
Skeksis, 'cause
the
Steve can't
Skeksis,
say it.
'cause I can't say it. Go back to their castle.
Yeah.
And that's when the Mark Hamill one
Okay.
He makes those big crab creatures.
The Garthrums or whatever.
Yeah,
Garthums.
That's what they're going to win the war with. But the series ends right there.
So they're hanging it for season 2.
Yeah. So even if they can get a season 2, you could see how the movie.
I
takes
question
place.
whether or not they're going to get a season 2, and here's why. In that documentary, if you watch it, they talk over and over and over again about how expensive it is to do puppeteering.
Oh, really?
So I know Netflix is watching those ones, and if it doesn't get the viewership,
It's got a huge following. A lot of people like it online.
I want to love it. I think I want to love it more. I do have a soft spot again for that puppeteering. It's just, man, I don't know if I want a whole universe of Gelflings, man.
It's a rough one. You should have either make them half-hour episodes or made it a movie. One of the two.
Yeah. I get what they're trying to do. They're kind of fleshing out the universe. I get what they're doing.
And
they're giving you more. Skeksis Kastika.
The sketches has 3 ones that aren't in the movie.
Well, there's 10 of them to begin with. There's 13 in the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And one's called the Hunter. The other one's called the General. And I forget the other. The other one has ooze coming out of her face.
Yeah, I saw that chick. Yeah.
Well, you kind of know all 3 of them died.
Yeah.
so, spoilers, sorry.
Yeah.
So you kind of could tell, all right, they're going to be gone because they're not in the movie.
So out of 10, I'd give it a solid 7, but it's going to
That's
be
a little high for me.
just because the
visuals are good. It's another 6.
Yeah.
If it was less episodes, maybe moved along a little faster, I just couldn't. God damn. I mean, you only made it through 1 episode so far, so it's not like you're itching to.
But the visuals of it, I just love it. It
no
touches
denying.
a bone in me that I just can't.
Looks fantastic, except for the little elf guys.
Yeah.
I was just wishing they redid them somehow, but they didn't. So what is Screwball?
So Screwball is a crazy, and I actually watched this a few weeks ago. I just forgot to put it on the list, honestly. It's a crazy documentary about the biogenesis and all the A-Rod steroid use in pro baseball. No. And that sounds very compelling. But here's another one of those ones where the documentary and the storytelling frustrate me. Because they try to be too campy with it instead of just hitting you overhead with so they basically get the main guy who ran the biogenesis, who was like this quack doctor who was giving all these people, and he's telling you everything, and they're going through the whole case, which is really compelling stuff. But their form of storytelling is to have like kids be the pro athletes. It's kind of annoying, honestly, because you're just like, I just need the information. Like, I don't need you to entertain me this much.
Trying to be quirky.
Yeah, and you just realize how deep the corruption was, and like how they did like all the microdosing.
I gotta watch that Scottish stuff. I don't know.
Oh my god, I'm still tasting that HP sauce, but it's a really good documentary. I just struggle with their form of storytelling. The funny part was like how it all came to light. If you're a sports fan and know about all that stuff in pro baseball, you got to watch this documentary. I mean, it's fascinating stuff. It all comes to light because one guy owed like $4,000. So like all that stuff, like all spins out of control, and like all the biogenesis stuff comes out and all that kind of stuff based on like basically a numbskull who needed his money back. And that's when he started turning stuff over to papers, and the papers were like gladly taking it in. Like I said, the only thing that's frustrating, the information in the documentary is fantastic. It's just
delivered weird.
Yeah, it's like whoever came up with this, like, oh, we'll make them kids, should have punched whoever came up with that theory. You should have just had people reenact it. I don't know why. Like, you don't have to have kids. Like, it wasn't, oh, it's so quirky and fun. You're talking about people doing, like, PEDs and stuff like that. Yeah. Like, dude, just tell the story and shut up. So I highly recommend Screwball, but just understand the form of storytelling is very frustrating. So for that reason, like I said, I'd give it, like, another 7 because the stuff in it's good. But it could have been way better if Morgan Spurlock or, like, a true documentarian actually did it. So... That was my.
That is a problem sometimes with documentaries where they try to be too cutesy with it. It just shows some
give me the information.
Talk about it.
Yeah. Or the other thing too is when a documentary spins into kind of a different area than you wanted it to be.
Oh yeah.
I have for example of that. There's a baseball card documentary on Netflix as well, kind of in that same vein of this one.
I think I saw this one. It's about the kid in Canada.
Yes, and then they go off into his dad, and I'm like, I just don't give a shit.
Yeah, it didn't go into the baseball good at all.
Yeah, because like the Upper Deck Ken Griffey stuff I remember from being a kid, and somehow we ended up being about like him and his dad. Yeah, I just don't give a shit.
Cleaning his mom's house out. I didn't even make it that far into it.
Yeah,
what is this?
Yeah, awful. Yeah, I think that was called like Jack of Trades or something like that. Yeah,
I remember flipping through.
Terrible documentary, but that again, I want the information that's in it. It's the way you're presenting it to me that was frustrating for me.
There is something to be said about it. Like you said, Morgan Spurlock and Michael Moore.
Yeah,
they're both good at.
And Michael Moore's entertaining with the way he presents the information, with taking the people to Cuba and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes they almost get too quirky. It's like, okay, where are we at? And that screwball falls because so if you're someone like BB who's like a sports fan, the information that's in it is fascinating. Like how A-Rod, and the funny part is like A-Rod's back on like the MLB network and all this kind of stuff. He's a complete dirtbag. If I'm to believe any of the stuff in this documentary, what a complete dirtbag.
Well, he always has been. That was my problem with that Cocaine Island one. It was kind of like a documentary.
Another perfect example.
And it went on too long.
Yeah.
And it got weird. And it's like, what
it was fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
Just tell it what it is. And trust, if it's only 42 minutes and an hour and 15, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, it's like everyone got to have 10 episodes, got to be 13. No, not all the time.
Yeah.
It's to the point.
WWE is a perfect example of that.
God,
We're like, dude, not always more is not always more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so there you go, Screwball. Now let's go on to the best thing I've probably seen in a couple of weeks.
And I would say I agree with you.
Dave Chappelle, Sticks and Stones, hilarious.
This is a great. The last of the 3 stand-ups I think he signed up for Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. The only thing I'd say, this is a great, first of all, great stand-up special. He filmed in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And
kept ripping on them and stuff.
He is so funny, and he's so topical to the current day. The only thing I'd say that's a rub with that, though, is how well would that hold up?
Yeah.
So, like, if you think of, like old Chris Rock specials, those are timeless. Like, you can turn them on right now. This one... And again, it's fantastic the way he goes through like the Juicy Smollett and all that.
I didn't know who that was. About Juicy Smollett.
It's like you went to Subway at 2 a.m. Oh, super hilarious. I just question. You're going to need to know a lot of pop culture 2 years from now to know and get a lot of those references.
The Kevin Hart thing.
Oh my God, funny. the Michael Jackson stuff was hilarious.
He just liked to look at buttholes.
And people are like getting offended. I don't
by
get
what?
it.
It was
because he was so like we're talking about like child molestation and all that kind of stuff.
But he didn't cut no corners.
Oh my God, he is so good. He just doesn't give a shit. He really doesn't care. Oh my God, he doesn't care if he gets signed to movie deals or he makes enough money doing what he does. He just doesn't give a shit.
And he doesn't care if he appeals to the masses. Where Kevin Hart, I feel, wants to appeal to everybody, and he wants those big movies. He wants those stadium tours.
Dave Chappelle just cracking jokes on whatever the hell he thinks is funny.
I think he's fine with just doing little clubs and making cracks. And he's making millions selling all his stuff to Netflix.
Dude,
so.
it is. If you're listening to this, just stop and go watch this shit. It is the
Hands
best
down.
stand-up special I've seen in years. It's that funny.
It's the best one. It blows away everyone. Everyone knows if you listen to the podcast, I watch a lot of stand-up. Yeah, the Whitney Cummings, all of them.
Yeah.
No one comes close to this one.
Dude,
the only thing weird was the weird suit he was wearing.
He was wearing like a onesie.
He was about to work on an airplane or something. I don't know what he was doing there. But
that's Dave Chappelle just being quirky.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Anything that dude could read the phone book, and he'll make.
And his delivery was so good and animated. On top of it, 9 out of 10 for me. I mean,
it's a solid 9 out of 10. I'd even give it almost a 10 out of 10. It's that funny.
Yeah, the only reason you don't get, like you said, a 10 out of 10, maybe in a couple of years it'll look a little dated. Yeah. But man, it was funny.
And then, like you said, like the calling back to previous stuff.
That Louis C.K. about the sad face with the like pancake butter. I just like, oh my God, I was dying laughing.
Dude, like legit, like a solid like 8 hilarious laughs on it. Dude, you're just laughing out loud. Yeah, it's so good.
I'm glad you watched that because I told you about it. I was like, man, you got to watch
it. It's
this
fantastic, folks. It's the best stand-up special, like I said, I've seen in a while.
Yeah, he blew them all out the water with that one.
And like I said, people are getting offended. I don't know.
Yeah, what was it, Vice? I guess Vice has got a website. And they told everyone to avoid it because he's homophobic and all this other stuff.
But what he'll tell you is he rips on everyone. No one is safe.
Transgenders hate my guts. They're just too damn funny. I can't help writing these jokes.
When he was talking about that bisexual stuff in the back and just creeping everybody out. I'll have sex with everyone in this car.
And then the transgender guy uses the bathroom. You can't go to the bathroom in 4 states. So
funny.
so good.
God, fantastic!
Yeah, we don't want to ruin any of his jokes here. So if you haven't watched it,
Oh my God! If you haven't, if you have Netflix and you haven't seen it, you're doing yourself a disservice.
So Rocket Man was mediocre. Carnival Row was mediocre. Screwball was average. Dark Crystal, I wanted it to be better than it was. But Dave Chappelle was great. So 1 out of 5 ain't bad.
It's the biggest one of the week, hands down.
So from there, we're going to go and pivot into 1983 with our retro review of none other than Flashdance, starring Jennifer Beals. Not Beal, Beals. There's an
Beals
S.
plural.
And
was she supposed to be hot?
I'm not sure.
Oh my god.
Maybe by 80s standards? I don't know.
Okay, so
Flashdance 1983.
Jerry Bruckheimer produced
I
this.
did notice that in the thing.
Yeah, and
I didn't realize he's been
out.
around that long.
Yeah, I was like, wow, Jerry Bruckheimer. Did we go from Flashdance to Armageddon? I was like, wow, how do we end up here? So this is, first of all, the plot is so loose in this. It's another one of these weird 80s movies.
2 weeks in her life.
Yeah,
it
like
feel like a movie.
And then they didn't even tell you if she got into the Pittsburgh thing at the end. So she is first of all, she's a welder / kind of stripper who has aspirations because of like a weird. Was that her grandma?
I'm not sure.
There's an old lady who wants her to be in this Pittsburgh thing.
A ballerina institute of some sort.
Yeah, and my whole thing, and I was texting Steve about it. How much money is this chick got? She rides a 10-speed everywhere. Like that's the only
motor car payment.
Yeah.
But she lives in an old warehouse.
And with her cool dog, I love the dog.
It was a
I
pit
do
bull,
love
right?
the dog. The Pitty was really cool though. Yeah, I was way into the dog. And she's riding this bike. She's got to have like 10 grand in the bank easily. Like I mean,
in 1983.
Yeah, well, she's welding. I mean, well, I'm like, what are you doing? Like so. And then was the guy supposed to be hot too? Her boss?
I don't know. He looked like the bad guy from Princess Bride.
I
couldn't make up my mind.
He looked like the dude from Gremlins to me.
Oh,
like,
that too.
Yeah.
I don't. It was one of the two. I don't know. Something about curly black hair in the 80s. A lot of guys had it.
I gotta tell you, a lot of montages. I have a soft spot like puppeteering for montages, as Steve has talked about with me. But the montages weren't very good.
Well, first off, let's cover. It was filmed with a handy cam, I think.
Yeah,
it was a terrible.
Didn't hold
quality.
up well. Did not hold up well.
That was terrible.
The one montage where they were in the Jane Fonda workout.
Oh my, that made no sense. And they had like bright lights behind them.
Yeah, everything was very
what gym were they
video.
actually at?
Yeah,
I was waiting for Olivia Newton-John to come out. My question, and me and Michelle couldn't figure this out because we were.
Oh, you watched it together with her?
Well, she watched some of it, and then she was in and out. What was her age? I thought at one point they mentioned 17, 18.
I don't think
Michelle thought
she's
she was
a
in her
union
20s.
welder already. She had to be in her 20s.
And then who taught her how to weld?
I don't know. She's a tradesman. I don't know what you want to tell you.
Because you never cover her family. So
they don't touch on anything. I don't know.
It was a weird movie.
It was like you said, like a slice. It was like, what is it? What's the one with Jenny McCarthy and Bill Murray, where it's just like this section of their life, and then that's all it is, like St. Vincent. Yeah.
Oh,
like, here's 2 weeks of their life.
Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, Melissa McCarthy.
Said Jenny McCarthy. Threw me off.
But yeah, so it's just like this slice of life, and then they just keep it moving. Like,
I think there was a big fad because of Footloose, and there was a big dancing fad going through the early 80s.
Was Footloose before Flashdance?
I don't know. That I don't. You have to. We need BV to research that. Yeah. But I think there was a big love for dancing movies back then, and so any way they could do it, like let's make Footloose a female or something.
No, Footloose was after Flashdance.
So Flashdance came out, started the craze, and then Footloose came after.
I don't know, folks. I thought it was terrible.
Oh,
it wasn't as bad as Highlander.
It's better than Highlander.
Yeah.
But what I give Highlander? 2? I give this a 3?
I mean, yeah, I give it like a 3.
What about that Porsche he was rocking in that 1980s?
Oh, my God. It's just so... And like you had said earlier, the music in it's you don't realize how many hits came from that movie or were in that movie.
And I don't know if that music was made for that movie or that was just music they licensed. I don't know. Because it's a little before our time.
It was terrible to look at.
I was 8 years old when that
I don't know. I don't know where. Yeah, we can blame this one on Heather because Heather told me we got to watch Flashdance if we watch Purple Rain. Purple Rain, I got it as a '80s like music video and an ode to Prince. These other two, man, I don't know. I don't know what the hell we're missing, but Flashdance was a big miss. Highlander was a huge miss. Oh. Where are we going next? What do you got for next week?
I thought you said you had one picked out.
We're going to do Gone with the Wind or Casablanca?
I don't know if I can sit through those. Those are really long movies.
Dude, I don't know.
We'll have to find something. Okay. Yeah, well, one of those two.
Well, that's some kind of retro review. We're going to stop picking on the 80s and we'll go to a far
even older.
And then I talked to you earlier about Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I've never seen either.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah. I think we might actually like that one. But Flashdance, that was not good. And I couldn't make up my mind. Like, first off, I didn't know why it was rated R.
Well, they showed the chick in the strip club.
Yeah, but that wasn't until almost near the end of the movie.
Why was the chick? That was a weird thing too. She's like oddly ice skating, and we saw more of her family than the main chick's family.
Yeah, and they never gone any further on it. She just wiped out and cried, and that was it.
Yeah, and then the dad was just
a weird
there.
Movie.
Oh man,
I can't imagine. Weird ass movie. But yeah, so if Flashdance, avoid that at any cost. Of course, now Charles and I have seen a lot of 80s movies, so I know people will be like, what about Blues Brothers? And I mean, we've all seen
We're trying to fill in the blanks.
Yeah, we're trying to go with the ones we might have missed and
or don't
people
remember
recommend.
really.
But yeah, so Flashdance.
We're trying to find
Highlander,
those culty
Purple
movies
Rain.
that people are obsessed with that we somehow missed. And
Now, there is one. What is the one I've never seen with that robot voice? Space Odyssey? I've never seen that one either.
2001: A Space Odyssey?
Hello, Hal.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen that. I've never seen American Graffiti, George Lucas's first
I've
movie.
never seen that either.
So
that's Ron Howard and George Lucas.
Yeah, and that's back in the 70s, I believe, before Star Wars.
Yeah.
So maybe we can think of something like that. And then, like I said, Gone with the Wind and Casablanca are out there. Maybe we'll do a double feature. I don't know.
I don't know if I got 8 hours of my life to watch those turds.
Yeah, that's all.
But it's fun. It's fun to watch all this old stuff. But so far, the only retro movie that I got was Purple Rain.
Yeah, I feel like most of the retro movies that I've seen are the better ones, and then all these ones. There's a reason I missed some of these.
But again, kind of like the Dark Crystal, there's a weird following that happens at a certain ones.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I just
Dark Crystal is a huge following. That new show, people are loving it on there.
Oh my god!
And
really?
I'm like, are they watching the same thing? I mean, it's beautiful, but man, is it a... All right, I don't want to shit on it too much. All right, now we're going to go into 3 minutes of wrestling because right now WWE is amping up, getting ready for that October debut of SmackDown on Fox.
When is it? October? The beginning of October? End of October?
Somewhere in there. Bad Steve doesn't remember.
Oh, okay.
I should remember, but I don't. But it is in October. The problem with that, you got to watch Fox has baseball. So
they'll preempt it.
Yeah, they'll preempt it a lot for baseball, so you're going to have to really find out when it is. But we're going to go a little outside the box again because I like to do that. Now, I talked on this show when it first came out, straight up with Steve Austin.
And I actually watched all these after you and BV recommended it, and it sounded great.
Yeah, and the first episode, I enjoyed Rob Riggle destroying
I
stuff.
thought it was really good. Yeah.
And I even liked the one with the guy from Practical
Saul
Joke.
Volcano.
He went in the car that went under the water and stuff.
And he's a huge wrestling nut. But, and I put this in the show notes, why do I got to get a Steve Austin commercial happening every episode? I get you have an IPA coming out, but what is going on with this?
Yeah.
The Sal Volcano one was like embarrassingly in there, like that much. I'm like, this is pretty bad.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I didn't actually miss the Baker Mayfield one. Did you?
I watched the Baker Mayfield one as well. That was really bad. Oh my god! Like, so they drove a warthog at one point, and then they went tailgating, and oh my god, they were driving like recliners on go karts. Dude,
it lost its charm pretty quick.
You realize how rinse and repeaty it is, if that makes sense. It's like they don't do anything. It's got a definite format, and it's not very good, if that makes sense. Like, it's like, okay, I get, like the Rob Riggle thing, like you said, I didn't know the military service the guy had and all that. It was oddly intriguing to me.
Yeah.
But then it was like, then the next week, here comes kind of Super Van Sal, and then they went in like a weird water car, and then they wrestled, and then we had a beer commercial. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like this last episode, they went in a warthog. Baker Mayfield, he rubs me the wrong way. And I know Wiggs likes his cockiness. He's almost too cocky for me. Like, he's just kind of like dismissive and kind of an asshole on some level. And I don't dig him. I don't know. So like, you got kind of Steve Austin kind of kissing his butt for that reason too. It was just a weird tone. I didn't like the Baker Mayfield one at all. So I can see why this ratings is struggling.
Yeah, he's been dropping since the first episode.
They need to, you know what would be funnier is if you brought in like old wrestlers and had them just like You know what I mean?
Shoot
like
the shit about wrestling and
yeah,
stuff,
like
yeah.
where's that?
That's his podcast.
Okay, great. Well, that does me a lot of good when I'm watching this show. Going
And
okay.
this week he's supposed to have a female wrestler on there. Becky Lynch is going to be on this week.
I know
But
her name.
I think it's struggling. I don't think it's going to last.
I gotta tell you, I don't think it. I
He
don't
can't
think I'm
even
gonna be
keep the
missing
wrestling crowd on after Raw. Like he's losing. So it comes out directly after Raw. So
it. Yeah,
you
I
think
know.
wrestling
So on
fans would be
DirecTV
like,
now, or AT&T TV now, as it's called now, because there's no DirecTV now anymore. I get a clip of the end of wrestling into the Steve Austin thing. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's like you said, it rolls one right into the
So
other.
you think the wrestling would just stay, but they don't. So it doesn't look like it's.
I didn't think because, and again, I'm not a huge Rob Riggle fan. That first episode was really good.
Yeah, it was entertaining.
I don't know. And
I
then-
thought the Sal one was okay. But yeah, like you said, the beer bowling.
they were throwing
and
kegs and all that. I'm like, okay.
I like the
get-
part where they should have done more with the wrestling when he was wrestling him and showed him some more moves and stuff.
I think
but
that's the intriguing stuff, and they're kind of dancing around. I get Steve Austin or Stone Cold's way more than just wrestling. But
Not
really.
really.
Be honest.
Not
yeah,
really.
I mean, what are we doing?
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So it doesn't look like it's gonna be long for this world. Austin, he keeps trying to find that life outside of wrestling, and
Well, you and BV have talked at length about his podcast, how much you love it. Right?
yeah, I don't know about love it. It's not like I don't need to listen to it every week. Does that make sense?
okay.
Only when he has a really big guest that intrigues me, I go on there. Like he had a Paul Heyman or Hulk Hogan came on. I'll watch that. But most
Well,
of
those
the
two
time,
shooting the shit got to be really entertaining.
yeah. Even though you knew most of it. I mean,
Who were
Hogan-
in his week in, week out kind of guests? Is it all wrestlers or is it?
Yeah. Sometimes he goes and gets like some kind of friends and hunters and stuff like that. But
What's the name of the podcast?
Stone Cold Podcast on Podcast One.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, Podcast One's the website.
Oh, okay.
The Adam Carolla's on there. It's you
Big
gotta pay.
names.
You got to pay. Fat Guys Little Podcast is not on Podcast
So
One.
wait, you pay for those podcasts?
No, they have free versions and a paid version.
So they're gonna have advertising.
Yeah,
involved.
yeah. And then he does the thing he does on his podcast I don't like is okay, so he's gonna do an hour-long podcast with Hulk Hogan. But beforehand, he does like a 10-minute spiel about like the backstory on it all. Okay, we get it. You're gonna talk to Hogan. Just go. I used to love Hulk Hogan, and I watched him as a kid, and blah blah blah. And he worked this gimmick, and then oh no, by the way, something beef jerky is the great best thing.
yeah.
So you got like a 10-minute
So
advertisement.
you're trying to pick out the nuggets.
And it's like, so I'm on the timeline trying to scrub past it. So I mean, I
Speaking
get
of
it.
which, you want to insert a commercial here.
Yeah,
We're brought to
yeah.
you by Jimmy Vivino's Pepperoni.
yeah, we're brought to you by 7-Eleven. But yeah, so I don't know. He seems to be struggling with what to do with life after wrestling, and he seems like he wants to be in LA and he wants to do movies and stuff, but they're just not coming his way. So he's kind of scraping his way with podcasts.
He
and-
looks labored to move, honestly.
Yeah, he
He's
does.
so fused together. He looks labored.
Yeah, and he should have enough money not to have to do anything, really.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a top guy for how many years? He should have.
I like the Broken
he's-
Skull Ranch.
But he's been divorced quite a few times, so I don't know if that's a
50%,
control on
son,
him.
yeah.
It's cheaper to keep her. So now the other thing I like to give is a weekly update on Ronda Rousey. Apparently,
Yeah.
Now she will be showing up and appearing in Total Divas. Now
That's the show Bob watches on the entertainment.
yeah. Number one fan Bob Maxwell loves the
Yeah.
Total Divas. She hasn't been onto it by this point yet because she thought she was a real fighter / wrestler. But now, let me show up on it. So she's
So
going
is
to be on
her and her
that.
wife beat her husband going to be on there?
Yeah, most likely. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the wife
Is
beater.
this scripted?
Kind
loosely
of
scripted
loosely
premise,
scripted.
yeah.
Yeah. Like all the girls will go here for this party, and then let's see what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
And then some of them will really be hamming it. I haven't watched any episodes. I see the previews. I zone out. So she's not fully done with WWE. So she's doing Total Divas. So that could. I'm gonna assume a lot of times. Like I know one storyline on Total Divas was one of the Bellas followed her career with John Cena.
I already tuned you out.
Yeah, I don't watch it, but it leans up to WrestleMania where John Cena proposed, and the Divas show kind of showed the behind the scenes of all that. So my gut feeling is that Ronda Rousey is going to make a return to WWE, and that this season is going to be her getting back in. I guess she had some kind of major surgery that she's recovering from. I don't know. So she's not done with WWE just yet, but she'll be on the Divas. Now the last one. Do you remember WCW's announcer Tony Schiavone?
No, yeah.
He used to be on with Bobby the Brain. Yeah. Well, thank God, because one of the one things you and I, when we were watching AEW, would say is the announcers are garbage.
Yeah, they seem to be really rough. The dude that was sitting in the luchador mask.
Yeah, and the other guy, the two of them sounded alike, so I couldn't really tell. So it looks like Tony Schiavone signed a 4-year deal with AEW. He'll probably be their TV guy when they go to television. And I thought that was some interesting news that they're digging up some old. He's not that old. I believe he's in probably his 50s by now, but he's not like JR. So he should be a little spry, at least for 4 years. So that's a little bit of a look at wrestling. Steve Austin still struggling with his career. Ronda Rousey looks like she's still in WWE, and Tony Schiavone is with AEW for 4 years. Next, what was this weekend, Charles? It was the opening weekend of college football.
Yes.
Wiggs was
we got
in
our
it
squad
for,
plays tonight.
Yes, Notre Dame plays Louisville in Louisville, 8 o'clock tonight. We got to hurry up and finish
ESPN.
So I had some interesting notes of the weekend. Most of them were your usual season week 1 ass kickings, but there were some interesting ones. One that I happened to catch the end of was Mac Brown from Texas fame.
Beat South Carolina
In his opening game, 24-20. He did a weird thing in that. I don't know if you saw it.
No, I didn't.
He had the ball with a minute left at the the North Carolina had the ball, not him. Minute left, 4th down. Instead of punting, he took a knee. So that left South Carolina with I forget how much.
They ran the clock, basically?
They ran the clock, yeah, but there was 10 or 12 seconds left. And they could have punted it and gave him the ball down at their 10 or something. Instead, they took a knee right at midfield, which then gave South Carolina a shot at the end zone from the 50.
Huh.
So kind of a weird, there had to have been a miscommunication there. It turned out for the best because North Carolina just picked it off anyways. But
could have ended poorly.
Yeah, it could have ended bad. So that was a weird decision. The other one, big bad SEC. I always love to post when they lose.
Yeah.
Tennessee loses to Georgia State at home, 38-30.
Well, you also forgot a big one, too, because Purdue lost to Nevada.
Is that a big one, though?
Well, that's a Big Ten team. Is Tennessee losing a big one? Then, Purdue losing is.
Well, Nevada's a little bit better than Georgia State. I've never even heard of Georgia State. But, yeah, Nevada beat Purdue. I forgot to put that on here. Boise State was losing badly to Florida State.
Yeah, and pulled it out.
Pulled it out 36-31 in Tallahassee. That's the biggest thing there.
Yeah.
So it looks like Florida State is not on the men's. They're still falling apart. Nebraska, the one that we mentioned, they're ranked 22nd.
Yeah.
They end up winning 35-21, but they struggled offensively. All the highlights, they scored on a special teams, a pick six, a fumble. 3 of their touchdowns came from
Garbage time.
Yeah, and that was against South Alabama, no less. But the game of the weekend so far,
this game was crazy. Did you watch the Oregon?
I caught the whole
game?
fourth quarter.
Oh my God, it was kooky game, dude. It was before the half, there was a pick in this direction, a pick. I'm like, what is happening? Oh my God.
And if you follow football, you've heard about the quarterback Nix from Auburn, true freshman, leads down Auburn to beat Oregon 21-27
over Justin Herbert's Oregon Ducks.
Yeah, another overrated Oregon quarterback. So Auburn in Jerry Dome won. Also last night was Oklahoma and Houston.
Yeah.
With Bills,
I didn't watch that at all.
Jalen Hurts. It was pretty by the numbers. It was 35-10 or something at one point. Oklahoma pretty much cruised. Actually, it wasn't Oklahoma's offense. It was Oklahoma's defense that was really I was surprised to see that.
From the Big 12, you just don't hear that
Yeah,
too
they
often.
were really shutting down because Houston's quarterback's is a 3rd or 4th year starter. And they shut them down pretty good. So there's a little NCAA, and Notre Dame and Louisville are going to finish it out tonight.
And then now the NFL starts on Thursday.
And that will be the Bears and the Packers.
Yeah.
Weird team. Usually it's a Super Bowl team that's on there, but that's fine by me. A little different, I guess.
The NFL
I'm
getting
curious
rolling.
to see what Green Bay looks like. I really haven't watched the preseason, so we'll see how. And we know the Bears defense is going to be solid, and if Mitch Trubisky could do any better. All right, so now rapid fire. A little bit coming out this week, even though football's kicking up. Chapter 2. My daughter's actually finally going to go see it.
Oh,
with her
you got her
friends.
convinced to go in to see it now?
With their friends, not with us.
Oh.
So Sunday afternoon, me and Michelle and I are probably going to see it Saturday. So Chapter 2, I will be watching that at the theater. Charles?
I would wait for Blu-ray for that. I'll check it out on rental.
Now, the other two are very low budget. And The Fanatic. John Travolta still makes movies that don't go to DVD. I'm shocked. He's a stalker that stalks an action
And it says
star.
Fred Durst somehow, doesn't it? Yeah,
It
Fred
does?
Durst is attached.
I don't
to
know.
this.
I just saw the release. I thought it was funny that John Travolta actually had a movie going to
And
the
they
theater.
put a toupee on his head, too.
That's why he was at the VMA Awards, is to promote this movie. because he seems old not to touch at the VMA Awards. But The Fanatic, I'm a no.
I'm a huge no. I don't like John Travolta and his weird Scientology. No thanks.
Didn't they make a movie like this before already, where Wesley Snipes played a baseball player and the two guys from Home Alone stalked him, or the one guy? I don't know. It was back in the 90s.
I don't. It's John Travolta. Who cares?
Now Zeroville. This is a James Franco.
Is he allowed to make
one.
movies?
I don't know. The Me Too movement told him no, but
Yeah,
it seems
I was gonna say.
Will Ferrell, I believe, is in this also, and it was Seth Rogen, of course, because Seth Rogen does everything with James Franco. It's going to be a limited release about a young actor in the 1969s trying to get their movie made. I guess it's based on a true story. No, I'm not. No,
I'm a huge no. I don't know what's going on. Like, he's so quirky anymore, too, with the James Franco stuff. Yeah, I'm a no.
Yeah, so there you go. That's for the theater this week. So also coming out on Blu-ray this week. The original V from the 80s. I never realized it wasn't on Blu-ray. It's coming out on Blu-ray.
How does that look in 1080p?
I don't know how
God.
that's going to look. I can't imagine that show holds up. I'm a no, Charles.
I'm waiting for They and They Live, so
okay. So
I'm a no.
yeah, and then also Men in Black International. This is with Thor himself.
Yeah.
I missed it at the theater. I really didn't want to go see it at the theater, but I will rent it. I'm a yes on Men in Black International.
I'm a no there, too. No
Oh,
thanks.
man.
Yeah, not even on HBO would I watch this.
Ooh, wow. And then Ma. That's that horror movie with Olivia Spencer.
Yeah.
She's the creepy lady.
At
I'll
the
probably
weird
watch
frat
it.
house or whatever.
Yeah, I'm a yes on Ma.
I don't know much about it. I guess maybe. I guess I'm a maybe. I guess.
Oh, okay. So maybe on Ma, Men in Black, and V series. Now on streaming this week, it might be some of my dates might be a little messed up on this one, but Disenchanted season 2. This is the one.
Matt Groening one.
I watched the first season. I thought it was
Did not like it.
I thought it was okay. It was more of a background. One bonus is the episodes are only a half hour, so that's not too bad.
Back to Steve's.
So it'll be background music while I play Madden. So Disenchanted season 2 is a yes for Steve.
I'm a no. I didn't like the first season. I'm definitely not going to watch season 2.
Next up is the only guy I think that can kind of go toe for toe with Dave Chappelle. Bill Burr, Paper Tiger, new stand-up special coming out for Bill Burr. I love this psychotic little bastard.
Yeah.
I'm a yes on Bill Burr.
And I'm anything Bill Burr. Yeah, hilarious dude. Yeah, I love him. So yes.
This next one, I thought I would like it because it's all that.
Is this the Danny Masterson?
Yes,
Are they
he's
allowed
gone.
to do this too? Oh, he's off the show.
They kicked him off the show.
Ashton Kutcher.
The
and
Ranch Part 7, which means season 7. They do this part thing. Actually, the
Sam
guy,
Elliott, right?
the guy who played Red is showing up this season.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of that 70s show people show up on the show.
Okay.
I tried to like it, just couldn't. I made it about.
It's like a sitcom, a
yeah,
Netflix sitcom.
yeah. It's like 4 or 5 episodes of the first season. I was out. The Ranch Part 7 is a no for me.
I'm a no. I didn't watch it before. I haven't watched it, so I'm a no.
Now, this movie, I thought was coming to theaters. This is that one with the girl from The Office, the Indian girl.
Mandy Kaling?
Yeah, it's the late night show and Emma Thompson's. I thought that was supposed to come in theaters, but it looks like he's releasing on Amazon now. Something happened somewhere. I don't know. It must be a turd because everyone's not touching it. I'm not going to watch it either. Late night Amazon. No.
And I'm a no for that too. I didn't like her on The Office. Why would I watch her in a movie? I don't.
Yeah, so
no thanks.
Yeah, she was like the worst part of the
Yeah,
Office.
she was. The BJ Novak stuff, it wasn't funny. It was
Unless
just,
she was a writer on The Office, I don't understand the love for her.
Nope.
But there's other people I don't understand. We'll talk about that later. I have love for. And then finally, this one's interesting. I don't have Hulu, but I probably would. It's Untouchable. It's a documentary on Harvey Weinstein and all the stuff that went down.
Are they interviewing people and stuff?
I think so. I only saw a trailer. Looked interesting. It depends on how deep they actually go into it, but I don't have Hulu, so I'm a no. Charles?
Yeah, I don't have Hulu, but yeah, I'm with you. It sounds interesting. If they can get like a firsthand account of what he did and stuff like that, I definitely would watch that, though.
Yeah, because I would be, because you always hear about it, but it's like, what did he do? Nobody really knows. Next, we got some games. We're slowly getting to that game season. Torchlight 2. I don't know if
people love the first one. People love the
I
first
signed
Torchlight.
up for the Epic's Game Store. It's
Okay.
free. And I got the first Torchlight for free. That's the only reason I signed up, because I wanted to play it. It's your standard kind of Diablo type game. It's not bad.
people
I liked
loved
it.
it.
I don't know if I'd buy it, but if it comes free on Epic Store again, yeah, sure. Torchlight 2 is a yes. Charles?
I'm a no. Actually, I didn't. To your point, the dungeon crawler kind of format's not my thing, but I know, like I said, people love it.
Yeah. And then Final Fantasy 8, I think that is, remastered.
That's 8?
Yeah,
Not 7?
Not 7. It's 8.
No one's waiting for 8 to come out. They're all waiting for 7.
No, it's like Caddyshack 2. Nobody watches Caddyshack 2.
They're remastering Caddyshack
First off,
2.
let's stop remastering all these damn Final Fantasy games. I'm a no. I mean, they were boring back in the day. They're boring now. So no, Charles.
I'm a no. I never played Final Fantasy games. I never have.
Yeah.
That's more of a Bert thing.
Now I still have my Gamer Pass until October.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
When I
That's cool
signed up
you.
for it back in the summer, I got it till October somehow. I don't know.
Okay.
So I will be playing Gears 5 for free.
Yeah, that's great.
Who can't argue that price, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a yes. I'm not a big multiplayer guy on the Gears, but I love the single
The
player.
Gears story's really good.
And I like some co-op here and there. So Gears 5 for me, big yes.
And I would be a yes, but I don't have the Game Pass and the $60 I'm not going to pay for it. But I like the Gears games. I'm definitely Gears games.
It's only $15, right? Can you sign up for that for 15?
Yeah, play it for the month and to dip out.
Yeah. I
that's
mean,
true.
you could technically play Gears 5 for $15.
Yeah, I don't know, man. What's the story at this point? You'll definitely have to review that for the crew.
You don't know?
Well, I know what the overarching story is, but I don't know where we went to.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Something about that girl and God, I don't remember the end of Gears 4.
Steve needs
It
a
all
recap
blurs together. Yeah.
montage.
Yeah. So Bubs, I thought this one was funny because again, it's another. You remember Bubsby? It's like the weird little creature, kind of mascot-y kind of games. It's coming out for Switch. It's a remake. I want to say PS2. He originally made his debut. Yeah, there he is. He's a little cat thing. Very in the Ratchet and Clank, Sonic.
It's like a weird mascot platformer.
Yeah,
kinda
it's
thing.
a deep dive mascot from the 90s. Coming out for the Switch. Bubsby. I can't say that today. Paws of Fire. I'm a no.
I don't even have a Switch, and I definitely wouldn't get it for Bubsy. I'm a no.
Yeah, no Bubsy for Charles. And that is all that's new. Now, the games are going to start rapid fire in here in the next month or so, especially in October. They'll start cranking out right before Black Friday. You'll see a bunch of new games coming out. But, as you can see, Bill Burr, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, Bill Burr. I'll watch it as soon as I see it on the queue. I'll definitely check it out.
He's hilarious.
I love Bill Burr.
So that's your rapid fire for this week. And Charles is going to take us right into the world of punching you in the face.
Yes.
Well, side note, though.
Uh-oh.
On HBO or Cinemax, one I'm flipping through, there was an old Bruce Lee movie on. First off, they're god awful. And Owen always told me if he was in the UFC today, he'd get his ass kicked.
I believe he would too.
Yeah,
he has no ground game.
Oh
yeah.
my god!
Well, you know what's funny is like his whole family came out against that Quentin Tarantino movie about how he was portrayed or whatever in that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood movie or something. I don't know.
I've not seen that. I've heard
Yeah.
good things about it, but I haven't seen it.
So,
It was a little long though.
Bruce Lee. But anyway, back to Bruce Lee. UFC Fight Night just happened. That was that crazy one that was in Shenzhen, China
At
6
5
a.m.
a.m.
Yeah, it was crazy time. And I actually caught kind of some of it at the gym. They had the ESPN pre-fight that was on there. I was kind of checking it out. The crowd was into it. I got to tell you, the crowd was, and they didn't disappoint because what's her name, Wally Zhang. These two, she fought Jessica Andrade, and they in 42 seconds, man. They just threw elbows and fists. It was the nuttiest thing you'd ever see.
Oh, really?
Oh my god! And the crowd went bananas. It was a very entertaining main event that happened. And it was China's first MMA champ. So it was just like not only were they having an event in China, then they actually crowned a Chinese woman like the strawweight champ. It went nuts. It was really entertaining. But it was a crazy fight. Like you can watch it in a minute after the show. I'll show you. It was like, whoa, man, just throwing mad elbows and it just got nuts. So that was at least entertaining. And then UFC 242 from Dubai happens this Saturday. They're going to fight Khabib versus Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier actually took
Are you going to fight the urge to run it?
not really. The undercard's not very good, not like
That's
the
what
other one.
I was wondering.
And the other thing, too, it's at like 2 p.m.
Oh.
because it's in Dubai, so it's at a really weird time.
Dubai must be, because that's where the WWE went.
The Crown
too.
Jewels.
They must be really
Like trying to get that
handing out
Western
that cheddar
stuff.
to people. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's this Saturday coming up. The other thing I put on here of note, both of them when they were interviewed think that Tony Ferguson should get to fight whoever wins this fight. And the reason why that's news is no mention of Conor rematch for the Khabib loss. So that's kind of interesting that all of them would point to Tony Ferguson as opposed to Conor McGregor. So we'll see. I think that Conor McGregor is going to get the next fight, is my opinion. So.
Yeah, I heard that rumor too. That they want that cash from fighting him.
Yep, he's just waiting in the wings to make that cheddar, son. So
and all he's going to do is get knocked out.
You think so?
Yeah, he's fucking lost it. He got choked out.
Oh
last time.
man, Steve's calling him
He
out.
hasn't fought in a while. He fights old guys in a bar. He's not mentally stable. Even worse.
Oh man,
I think he's near the end of his rope.
you think so?
He's gonna cash in a couple more big fights, get some money, and then he'll go.
He'll be
away.
out. He'll be a whiskey
Sell
guy.
his whiskey.
Yeah.
Getting fights in Ireland.
I don't know, but that was what was going on as far as UFC stuff. I'm not a big fan of that pay-per-view coming up because, like I said, good main event. I definitely would check out the main event. It's just that undercard didn't sell it for me.
If I was running a network, excuse me.
Steve's falling asleep.
Yeah,
folks.
if I was running a network right now, I would try to contact McGregor about a reality show or some sort.
He has the Mac Life online, like his whole brand and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, well, see, he's already got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it won't be long. He'll be done.
Wow.
I just don't see it lasting much longer.
Do you think he goes to the WWE?
No, he's never really done anything with them.
Yeah.
I think he commentating, maybe tries his hand at boxing, does something weird like that.
Yeah.
I really think TV. I mean, he's kind of built for television, right? He's a little cocky dude. He movies, TV, something along that lines. He go to the Steve Austin show.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't. I think that
Straight
crazy,
up with Conor McGregor. Is that what's going on? Yeah.
Yeah, that crazy Russian dude with the hat's gonna beat his ass again.
Yeah?
And it's gonna be over. He lost twice
man.
in a row, and then maybe he'll get one last match against like a Diaz or something, lose that match, and then just
Run
draw.
away with that purse of money and get out of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, because people probably want to see that.
That'd probably be me.
Yeah. So UFC is done, over with now, and now we're gonna go on to the news. There's some very tragic news about Taco Bell and other things this week. But we're gonna start.
I poured a couple out for the Taco Bell story. There's a handful of items on that list that I eat. I'm like, dude.
So before we get to Taco Bell, let's talk about chicken, Charles.
Yeah.
So everyone always, we've covered on this podcast Chick-fil-A, how our father loves it. Charles doesn't believe in their rights,
Nope.
but thinks the chicken's okay, but not the greatest. Now, while we were gone and why the week happened, Popeyes apparently released a chicken sandwich, and people lost their goddamn minds.
Yeah, like they literally couldn't keep it in stock.
No.
Which I don't understand how Popeye runs out of chicken sandwiches, but whatever. Popeye's chicken ran out of chicken sandwiches. I don't know how that works.
What job?
I mean, Popeye's chicken.
Funny side note, on the way home from the Renaissance Festival that Sunday, on like 12 Mile and Telegraph, there's a Popeyes.
Okay.
There was literally a line out the door going down Telegraph.
For the chicken sandwich?
For the chicken, and I didn't know about the chicken sandwich at the time.
You're like, what's going on there?
So me and Holly were like, "Are they giving away free chicken? What's going on over there?"
Steve's like fast food radar went up.
Yeah,
Wait.
I was like, "Wait, why is that line so long?" But anyway,
So they apparently got so busy. Someone, and I put the other article in the notes here. Some man's talking about suing Popeyes for running out of this chicken sandwich.
people are.
I don't know what's going
People are
on.
goddamn nuts.
It's a weird thing, and I also put in the show notes. I actually, after seeing all this, I went and I took Heather and Lorna and went to Wendy's. The spicy chicken from Wendy's, folks, is delicious. I don't know why
They've
is the
had that
world
sandwich for 12 years.
forgetting about it. Yeah, I don't understand.
You can get a chicken sandwich at KFC, McDonald's.
Dude, I'm telling you, I find a spicy chicken to be delicious.
There's some rumor why it went
What do you
crazy.
got?
It's a little political driven.
Oh.
So, like you and your wife, a lot of people don't like Chick-fil-A. They got, the gay rights thing. They got closed on Sunday, the religious and stuff like that. And a lot of the black culture, believes Popeyes is kind of like black owned, and it's their KFC.
It's real. Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's why
I do have to admit, a Popeye's chicken can be pretty tasty.
I hate their
admittedly.
sides, but their chicken's delicious.
Yeah. They got that little bit extra spice on it. It's good.
All KFC got to do is come out with a spicy chicken. They put Popeyes on business.
Well,
whatever.
they did a little different.
Yeah, so that's one that the black community really embraced it and took off with it. And number two, the gays and hey, we could stick it to Chick-fil-A by eating all this Popeyes. So that kind of helped on top of the fact that it must have been a good sandwich because people were crazy.
I mean, admittedly, I do enjoy a Popeyes, but I wasn't waiting in line.
Yeah, me either. The one we have one down from my work right around Wayne Road and Ford Road.
Okay.
It just opened about 2-3 years ago. At night, because Holly needs her driving at night, we drive all the way down to that Walmart. 9 o'clock at night, they were wrapped around the building. And
What is going on?
When that sandwich was going.
How was it by the one on Telegraph there, the Walmart and all that?
I didn't even go near that.
Oh,
I wasn't about
yeah,
to do that.
imagine that
You know
one.
how bad that had to be?
This must be an amazing thing. I get what you're saying, like a little bit of a protest attached to it.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, like I told you, I went to Wendy's. It's delicious. I don't know. I didn't wait in a line. I got served right away.
And I mean, KFC's had chicken sandwiches forever. I don't know, man. If you really want to stick it to Chick-fil-A, just eat this chicken sandwich at KFC.
I'm all for sticking it at Chick-fil-A, but I'm not waiting in line at Popeyes to do it.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you.
it was a craze. It swept the nation here for a couple
They
weeks.
sold out of chicken. It's the craziest thing.
A lady that works with my wife, Angie, her daughter went to the one by my work and waited an hour and 15 minutes to get 2 chicken sandwiches.
Did it taste good? I mean, what is
She
what's
said
the
it was-
review?
The lady liked it. She said it was a really good sandwich, but
It's got to be hot. It's not like you're holding them. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
she said it wasn't worth the hour and a half wait or hour.
Well,
50
go
minutes.
figure. A chicken
But-
sandwich.
So,
I mean, dude, I'm all for chicken sandwiches. Delicious, but geez, an hour and a half?
they hit a home run with that one. So I don't know.
That's impressive.
They hit the
man.
right nerve, and everybody ran to it.
'Cause
So
like you said, like Popeye's not even on that many people's radar. I would argue.
yeah, and their sides suck.
Just for the record.
For the record, the chicken's good, sides suck.
But now this one that you're about to talk about, I would have waited in line a little bit to check this
So
out.
in Atlanta, where
Just
Dave
Atlanta.
Chappelle was, just in Atlanta, back into the chicken craze, KFC released a plant-based chicken.
Yes.
There was a 4-hour wait or something along that
Beyond
lines.
chicken or something like that. Yeah.
And it sold out immediately. People
I would
stormed
be
this place.
intrigued for more than the chicken sandwich. I might have waited like an hour to check out the Beyond. Admittedly, I would have waited like an hour.
Yeah, so after eating the Impossible Burger at Burger King, I don't know what kind of voodoo they're doing to this food. But if it tastes like chicken, but it's made from a plant,
Check it out. We definitely need to hear on the
I would-
podcast.
I would try it, but it was only in Atlanta, and it sold out immediately, and it was a 4-hour wait to get it. So a little rough
but
there.
you know that you're going to get, just like the Impossible Burger, you're going to get a nationwide rollout on it.
Yeah,
You know
so
you
you
are.
watch for your KFC ads. You might get plant-based chicken coming soon to a KFC.
Now, I got one that Lauren and I are looking for that I see online all the time. I'm trying to find these zombie Skittles. I can't find them anywhere.
heard of 'em.
They're like regular looking Skittles, but instead of like the weird jelly bean thing, there's just like some of the Skittles just taste bad, but you can't tell by looking at them.
Oh, it's almost like those jelly beans.
Yeah.
Wow, that sucks.
But I can't find them anywhere. I'm sure as Halloween gets closer, we'll be able to check
They'll start
them
to
out.
pop up.
I'll bring some on here. We'll check it out.
So here's an interesting one for you Alexa owners out there. I don't want to say it too loud because I don't want to get Charles's Alexa going crazy.
Yeah.
But you can look up in-depth football stats now with your.
You can ask like an individualized player, or do you
Yeah,
link
like
your
how many-
account?
I don't know. I would assume you ask Alexa, how many touchdowns did Peyton Manning throw his last year?
Okay.
And it's supposed to give you the stats. So I thought that
I
was
mean,
interesting.
Your question. In the 2015 season,
Yeah, wow.
Peyton Manning threw 9 passing touchdowns for the Denver Broncos.
There you go.
Yes.
Asked, how many interceptions did Peyton Manning throw? Would you like to know the answer?
Yes. No, sorry. So yeah,
Wow.
So this is a big thing with them. They're promoting it, probably to get those fantasy football owners.
It's
to
just
get-
that time of year, man.
Yeah,
in
they want to
America.
get people to asking them football questions to your Amazon powered device. I don't want to say the name because it'll go crazy again. So I thought that was a little interesting thing. Now here's what the thing I was talking about earlier, where people are over. Oh, before I forget, by the way, Jennifer Beals, who's in Flashdance, I had to look up her IMDb because I was like, what else has she been in? Tons of TV and stuff. But the one thing she did show up recently that I didn't even aware of, she was in Swamp Thing. She played the sheriff
Oh, okay.
in Swamp Thing. I didn't even realize.
How'd
it.
she look?
Pretty good, but she's like 50, you know. So
Okay.
she kind of reminded me of a better looking Jackie off of Roseanne.
Oh, okay.
That's what she looks like. now.
Laurie Metcalf.
Yeah, better looking Laurie Metcalf. So there's a little tie in there. So now back to Charles. You're a big SNL guy more than I am.
I do still watch SNL,
you're-
and I think that Leslie Jones is funny. She's also very funny to follow on anything Instagram and stuff like that too.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
Everything I've seen her in, she's not that fun.
When she's on Weekend Update, she's hilarious.
Yeah, she hits on the one white kid.
Yeah, the
and
Colin
then she
Joe
screams
stuff.
and yells about things and
Yeah.
gets pissed off. Little sexual things here, right?
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Is that about it? If I missed something
Yeah,
else?
I mean, and then she goes crazy about certain things on TV shows and stuff. She's funny. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you she's the new Amy Schumer or Whitney Cummings. That's not my issue. I'm just saying she's a funny chick.
Well, we're gonna put her to the test because allegedly she's gonna get a stand-up special on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
So I'll watch that and I'll go in with an open mind. But if that tanks too, I'm done with this lady. But they are pushing a supermarket sweep.
I used to like that show.
It's coming prime time to one of the networks, and she's going to be the host.
Is she going to go in the same place that, like, what is it, Guys Grocery Games? Are they going to do supermarket sweep in the same one?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, I'd watch it.
If she's smart, she'll do a Drew Carey and just stick with that show while she does other side projects.
Yeah.
So that's
Drew Carey doesn't even do side projects. Man. He's straight Prices Right. Dude.
Yeah, I wish I watched today. It was on TV because I was home.
He's extra skinny now, man. He's lost a ton of weight, dude.
Yeah, he really has. Well, I think his older brother died young, and that scared the shit out of him.
Oh, okay. I feel your pain, Drew.
Yeah, I know. Damn it. So, and then the other one, she re-signed with SNL, and I missed.
She's done.
No, Kate McKinnon re-signed.
Oh, Kate McKinnon. I thought you said Leslie Jones.
Leslie Jones is done.
Yeah, she's done.
Kate McKinnon re-signed with Saturday Night Live for another 3 or 4 years. I forget what it is. Did I miss something about this girl?
Yeah, there's a handful of chicks that just get anointed on Saturday Night Live. It always happens. It's just the way the world works. Just accept it, Steve.
But
there's
I don't find her funny.
Of chicks every time.
One movie I found her funny, and that was that Office Party with Jason Bateman and them.
I haven't seen that one.
She plays an HR manager. She's pretty funny in that. Everything else, she's terrible in.
I don't know.
That spy movie with Mila Kunis, terrible. She was in a movie with Scarlett Johansson where she played an Australian girl. She was terrible in that. I've never seen anything where I'm like, oh my God, this girl's so funny.
Kate McKinnon's hilarious.
But online, they love her.
Yeah.
They love her. Wow. And it's like, did I miss something? Yeah. I mean, Melissa McCarthy's funnier. Amy Poehler's funnier. Tina Fey. I mean, Kristen Wiig.
I'm not here to defend her, but that's just how Saturday Night Live rolls. There's always a chick
anointed chick. What about the chubby girl? Can't she be the anointed one?
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know her name, but you watch Saturday Night Live more than I do. Yeah. I just don't get the love for Kate McKinnon. Because she's gay, is that it? I don't know.
I'm not here to defend it. I don't know.
Like, anyone gets anointed sometimes. Like, even Kristen Wiig, I can find funny things she did. Will Ferrell, same thing. Her, Kate McKinnon, it's like, her and Leslie Jones. I'm struggling on both of them.
I think Leslie Jones is funnier than Kate McKinnon to me.
So I'll watch that Netflix with an open mind, and if it's funny, I'll give her a pass. No. But if she sucks in that, you're done. So now back to, because we're fat guys, let's go back to fast food.
Yeah.
My daughter was devastated because
what are they eliminating that killed her?
The spicy Dorito Loco Taco.
Oh, those are so bad. Talk about salty. God, those Doritos tacos are terrible.
It's the only beef she'll eat.
Oh, really?
She'll get 2 of them sometimes.
Wow.
Loves them. And then so Taco Bell announced, I think it's September 12th, they're removing like 9 menu items. Now, one thing I always got the big Boomba burrito, the double XL burrito.
Yeah.
But I can get a Boomba burrito anywhere. It's not a big deal to me.
But it's so cheap and so good because that's my thing. So on this diet, the chicken power burrito is one of the things I always get. So you get the XXL burrito. I get the chicken power burrito all the time. That's my go-to because it's low calorie and it's just full of a bunch of protein. The other thing that's delicious they're getting rid of for me is the chicken chipotle grillers are going away. I'm just annoyed. I'm like, dude, come on. I get it. You got to refresh stuff. And maybe, to your point with Holly, not a lot of people ordered them or something like that. But, man, it sucks.
Yeah, 2 of the Doritos are gone. The Cool
Ranch one,
and the spicy one, both gone. And allegedly the Maxi Melt's gone.
I was a little shocked at the Double Decker Taco because it's not. So the way I read the article was, so you can see the chicken chipotle griller going away because you'd need that sauce, one-off kind of sauce or whatever. The Double Decker Taco is just, they got everything there. I don't understand why you would eliminate that.
Maybe they just take it off the menu, but you can still order it.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Weird. I don't know.
So Taco Bell,
but a Double Decker Taco is kind of shitty, though. Let's be honest. This refried beans, it's way too much.
It's not as bad as a meat pie, though. Yeah. All right, now who is this guy?
Who is this? This is Franco Columbo. If you've ever seen the movie, if you've ever seen the movie Pumping Iron, you know who Franco Columbo is.
Oh, he's the buddies Arnold Schwarzenegger. Because Arnold Schwarzenegger's been posting on his Instagram, and I didn't know who the guy was.
Oh, my God, really?
Yeah, I didn't pay attention.
And again, we've chronicled on this show, I have an affinity to Arnold. I have an affinity to strongman. It's just what I do. I don't know. I'm a crazy person. So he just passed away. So Franco Columbo, who's Arnold Schwarzenegger's best friend, and it's well documented in Pumping Iron, he died at 78 years old. I didn't know that in 1976, the year after Pumping Iron took place and Arnold retired initially, Franco actually won Mr. Olympia then. And then also, so Arnold came back in 1980 to win Mr. Olympia and then retired again, and then Franco won again. So you can see it's pretty crazy, but it scares me that one day Arnold's going to die and I'm going to be beside myself.
One day. Have you seen that Terminator trailer?
Dude, I don't know.
He might have died filming that.
And let's be honest, I don't want to, because again, R.I.P. Franco, he picks up a car. He picks up a car in Pumping Iron, dude. Like, there's a car stuck in there. He moves it out of the way. Dude was insanely strong. But what is up with that? So the Terminator, what's the name of the new one? The Salvation?
Dark Fate or something.
Dark Fate. Let's call it whatever it is. How does a T-800 or whatever Arnold's model, how does he age?
Well, they said in the original Terminator that the flesh and stuff on the outside of them age.
Oh, I don't think I picked up on that.
Yeah, that's a deep dive there.
Yeah.
They said that in the original
OG-84 Terminator?
That's why they're hard to find, because they'll age just like humans on the outside. And
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
So
And
the
then
bio flesh will live.
They're also, the premise of this new one too appears to be that they're going to couple, like, the chick somehow is going to have robotic enhancements, is what they were implying.
Yeah.
But they were in like an ICE detention center. Did you pick up on that too?
missed
Like
that
an
part.
immigration detention center.
Please no.
I knew Steve's eyes would roll as soon as I mentioned
I missed that part.
Yeah.
I did not miss the very CG special effects they've
Yeah.
got. They went some real CG stuff. I was like,
We'll see.
I got high hopes. Nah. It's weird because they're cutting out all the other sequels. Like, this one allegedly takes place right after Terminator 2.
Oh, so they're just completely killing
Now we're
off
just
everything.
told to forget everything they
Okay.
made. T3, Salvation,
I don't think that's a
Genesis.
bad thing, because this is the return of James Cameron to the series.
Well, he's not directing. He's just
producing it, but
he just slapped his name on it to sell tickets. That's all that happened.
you think James Cameron needs a little cabbage? Is that what you're saying?
No, I
mean-
think they need his name to help sell the tickets to that. The studio needs. So they gave
We'll
him
see.
some cabbage to slap his name on, is what they did. Because he loved Genesis, the last one that came out. He gave his endorsement.
Oh,
They always
okay.
go to him anytime a Terminator movie comes out. And
The first Terminator in T2 is amazing. I don't know how you
They probably
gotta-
should just
you're
stop.
just chasing it. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's like, I get it. You tried to make a universe out of it. It's just too much at this point.
So anyway, watch Pumping Iron. R.I.P. Franco Columbo. Hopefully Arnold doesn't die anytime soon. I might have to wear like a black band around my arm.
Charles is
That one.
gonna go dark. We're gonna do a totally silent podcast. that
Him
day.
or Sylvester Stallone guy, I might be beside myself, just so we're on the same page.
So before you go into your rant, I've chronicled on this podcast before. There's moments in life that always make you feel old. And here's one. So lately, I'm sitting at home and nose get tickle or whatever. Go in the bathroom. I'm getting these long gray ass hairs.
Just huge ones coming out of your
long
nose.
nose hairs. It's like, holy shit.
They're just growing, huh?
Growing like a
Do
madman.
you, now let me ask the question: do you just grab that, hold that mug, and just yank?
But it makes my eyes water.
Yeah,
It's rough plucking
yeah.
nose hairs. So we went. I told you to Great Lakes Crossing, and we were walking around, and I saw Bed Bath and Beyond, and I was like, you know what? You know what I need? So I went in there and I got a device.
What does that do?
Look at this. $10. Brett Favre's on the cover. It's a nose hair clipper.
Oh my god!
So you take this in, jab it up your nostrils, turn it on,
And just whiz it around in there a little bit.
get rid of the
Did
hairs.
anything come out when you did it?
Oh yeah, I had hairs all over this damn thing.
Really?
Yeah, and then on top of that, you could use it's
For your ear too.
ears back
It's
of the neck.
insertable kind of.
Yeah,
thing?
so Holly did the back of my neck for me and stuff like
Oh,
that. But for
jeez.
$10, this is a sign of getting old. You go to Bed Bath & Beyond, you buy a nose hair clipper
Wow, that's
for
a harder
$10.
review from Steve. Here.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of funny.
Wow.
I was laughing about it. I was like, God, this is what life becomes at a certain age.
I'll
I
just
gotta
be curious how often you got to get in there and buzz it around.
I don't know. I just noticed it this past week. I was like, God, there was look at that spider's web up there. I was like, I got to do something about that. So when I was at the mall, I remembered to buy a nose hair clipper. Signs of getting old, nose hairs clippers. So there you go. Wait until the day you got to buy them. It's always
Yeah,
great.
buzz it around.
I always
in
get
there.
the random hairs on my ears too. Like all of a sudden
on
it'll
the
be a-
exterior. of
Yeah,
it?
yeah, be a little long one. I don't really get the inside ear hair like the
Okay.
old guys get yet, but on the outside, I get them all. Especially
Like
after
on
you get a
the outer
haircut.
lobe,
You get
yeah.
a haircut, you can see them real bad. This is kind of a nice thing to just zip them all off. So that's what men have to do when they get older. They have to fight hair, is what they pretty much have to do. And Charles, school's back. What did you want?
Yeah,
to
so Lorna goes to Dearborn Public Schools, has predominantly Muslim populations. They got an extra couple days off that other people don't. So she went back last week, and she started the second grade. And now she's been going to the same elementary school now since she was in kindergarten and all that kind, and we're kind of used to it or whatever. So obviously, there's a no peanut rule. Okay, I get it. Like someone's kid's gonna die if there's a peanut within 100 feet of them or whatever the rule is. I don't
really
know.
want to test that.
What's that?
I'd love to have just a
You
kid
can't. The kid will die.
stand in a corner and we just flick peanuts at him and see what happens. They
You
don't
want to
eat
kill a
'em.
little kid. You
Don't-
want to kill a little kid.
No,
is what
because
you're
I don't
saying.
think that much is going to happen.
You don't? You think it's kind of
No.
weenieism?
I think it's weenieism. Maybe get a little rash or something. I bet you that's all. It happens.
Wow, I don't know, man. I think some of those
He's
kids
not
are
eating
really...
them. I'm not saying.
Okay.
I'm not saying
You're
eating
saying
them.
just be in the
Stand
proximity
in the corner.
of...
We each have a bag of peanuts and we just chuck them at them.
I want nothing to do with that. All right, but I'm
And
just,
I bet
I
you
get your theory. I'm just
Nothing
saying.
will be wrong with the kid. I guarantee it.
But so anyway, we're conscious of the household about it. So we sent my daughter with pretzels the first week, like for her snack, right? Pretzels is what they give you on the airline now because they don't give you peanuts because of this allergy, right? The teacher looked him over and was like, "You can't eat that."
Can you eat pretzels?
No,
They weren't
only
peanut butter
fruits and vegetables. So Lorna comes home and only 10 kids out of the class got to eat that day, and I'm like, well, okay, I get the peanut rant or whatever, but like, here's pretzels. Like, what are we talking about? So I took it a little more. I was like, Heather, email this chick because I'm starting to get irritated. I'm like, okay, yeah, I felt like she was pushing off a health thing on my kid.
Right.
My kid's not overweight. My kid's completely in line with her little, you know what I mean, percentiles and everything like that. Don't tell
If
me
she was overweight, fuck her. It's your kid.
right. If I want to give my kid some pretzels, here's some pretzels, right?
Yeah,
you know what I
right.
mean? But anyway, so we email the teacher, and she emails us back that apparently because they're mixing so many kids around this year, that they can't even run the risk of having anything that's even produced in a facility that can have peanuts. So she didn't say it had anything to do with health. It's just like level 2 of this peanuts crap. So now if it's like produced in a factory, like, so they can't even run the risk of that. So they're saying, like, dude, only fruits and vegetables. And, like, I get it. Like, but to your point, it's not like Lorna's holding the peanut kid down and shoving a, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's just, it's becoming, like, further weenieism. And I'm sure someone who might be listening to this will be like, no, my kid's got some legit issues. But, like, at what point is that my kid's fault? You know what I'm saying?
She's not
like,
chucking the pretzels at the kid.
that's I don't know what to do here. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like, you just here, take some strawberries and some carrots, but like, really, man? Like, we're to this point where like you can't even run the risk of.
Well, I mean, so she takes a sandwich, I assume, right?
That's for lunch. I'm talking about like they have like snacks throughout the day. that
Well,
they'll
isn't
let 'em-
bread made in a warehouse?
Steve, the whole thing, if you start to nitpick it all, it makes complete no sense.
Oh,
It's to me, it's like a liability coverage thing. Is the only thing I can think of. There's probably one kid that came in with documentation of like, I got this bad peanut allergy, and so they probably submitted to the district, and the district's like, just ban everything. You know what I mean? Like,
You know
so
what you got to do for Halloween is dress her up like a Jiffy peanut butter container.
you joke, but I have peanut powder that I put in like a protein shake every once in a while around here. I'm just gonna start coating everything of Lauren is in this protein. I'm like, no, some kid will die, and I'll be a dick. So I'm like, no.
I
but
just
it's
say dress her up like a peanut jar for Halloween.
dude,
send
it's
her to
just
school.
it's out of control, man. Like, I
That's
don't know.
insane.
So like, Heather's nephew is allergic to tree nuts. He has to have an EpiPen in multiple locations.
What is a tree nut?
A walnut, I think, is a tree nut. Whatever nuts grow in a tree. Exactly, Steve. I mean, what do you want me to
I
tell
don't
you,
mean to laugh
man?
at the kid, but Jesus Christ.
What are we going to do here? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm lucky enough to have a kid who doesn't have, she's klutzy as all hell, but she doesn't have any allergies. So I don't know what to do here. All I'm saying is like, it's just getting crazy. I don't know what to do. I mean, it's so weird because initially I went into the same thing you did. I had a moment of like, wait, this teacher's telling me I can't give my kid a pretzel. Like, kiss my ass.
Yeah.
And then like the teacher fired back of like, no, we just can't trust anything from anywhere that might have come from a facility. I'm like, really? Like, that's where we're at in America now?
Literally, you should take a strawberry, cut out the center, and put fucking peanut butter. And put
I'm telling you,
send
man.
that to her.
Yeah,
Eat
it's
these.
crazy. And does Holly have any issues with that? Like being in like in high
Ironically,
school?
no. Holly takes a Jif peanut butter cup with her every day.
I'm
to school.
surprised that. So what happens to the kid? So the kid, what I'm saying is, this kid that's in the elementary school with my daughter right now, there's got to be a kid there.
By the time they get to high school, they don't care.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. So in elementary school, like, hey, we got to watch out for little Joey over here.
It's got to be from a group of parents bitching in the elementary. You know, parents kind of care still while the kids are in elementary.
Yeah, I
Once they get to high
guess.
school, I don't think they really care.
Like, you should have known not to be near Holly while she ate her Jiffy. I mean, I don't understand. It's so weird.
She's been eating it since the beginning of ninth grade.
Oh, I'm not saying she's wrong for doing
No,
it.
in
All I'm
elementary,
saying is,
she
does
wasn't-
the kid make it to high, or did he die? Is that what I'm saying?
Yeah. In elementary, she wasn't allowed to bring anything peanut butter based.
So what happened to the peanut butter kid?
And I guess no one cared when she hit middle school.
It's so weird.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
understand. Like you said, it's like hover parents. You know what I mean? Like
it's stupid. Like I said, when I kid in the corner, just throw peanuts at him. See what happens.
ain't nothing happening to you. Kid
Nothing.
can't breathe. Dude, you're fine.
I know.
I don't know, man. It's a crazy thing, but yeah. So this year, Lorna can only have fruits and veg in her snack time. Crazy. And like I said, the teacher replied back with like, because Heather even put in the email, like, we're careful not to say, you know, she's like, well, I know you are, but we mix kids around because kids.
Heather was way too nice. I'd be like, what the fuck?
You joke, but I was at that point. So I was like, Heather, you have to send it because I'm going to be not politically correct here.
I didn't have, I was thinking about this today. I didn't have much interaction with any of her teachers or anything. Holly went pretty smooth. The one thing is, in kindergarten, there was a kid in her class, and when she went to Polk, that was messing with her. Like, and she asked the teacher, and the teacher wouldn't move her. So that's the one time I went in before school. And
What grade was she in?
kindergarten, she was
Oh,
like, and some kid just kept messing with her, or first grade, one of the two, and the teacher wouldn't move her even though actually she asked. So I went in, and I'm pissed. This is my little girl. I don't have no little girl. This is my only little girl. And this teacher, I mean, she's 100 pounds soaking wet and 5'2". Here's this giant hairy beast.
And what'd you say to her?
Hey, my daughter kind of told you about the kid messing with her, and she goes, I forgot the kid's name at the time. She goes, are you sure? I listen. I don't think my daughter's lying to me. Can you please move her? I don't need none of this crap. Okay, Mr. Markey, I'll look at it immediately. And guess what? She got moved. But that was the only thing we ran into. Everything else has been pretty. Well, of course, the world famous Skechers.
Oh, dude, that's a funny story.
it's a funny story, but-
I don't know. I think we're lucky that right now my daughter loves school. Your daughter loves school. So
she's excited to go back tomorrow. I go, what is wrong with you? Who's excited?
what is she like? We should have had her on for speed of that. What is she excited for? Like what
Her
is
friends. It's all her friends.
Oh, okay.
I mean, she's been in touch with them all on the phone. They've done things over the
Because
summer.
we're a sophomore, correct?
Yes, sophomore. And she's just excited. And she's already they give them their schedules early, so she knows how many friends are in her lunch period, how many friends are in each
Okay.
class.
So she knows ahead
And
of time.
even Fatima, who's a little behind her, but still in a lot of her classes. So she's just...
It's way social calendar type stuff.
Where me or you were like, we'd go, but it's like,
Well,
yeah,
for me and you, we would have already been in football at this point.
yeah.
So we'd have been like, dude, I'm already gone for 2 weeks. Doing
But I
football
wasn't. We
conditioning.
weren't sitting there the night before school started going, I can't wait. Well, Holly is, and I think Lorna probably is too.
Yeah, Lauren,
I think
she's
it's-
all stoked about
I think
it.
a little bit comes from being an only child type thing.
You think so? Just
I
need
think
that
a little bit,
interaction
yeah.
a little bit. Yeah,
If she
you're
had
probably
sisters and brothers driving her nuts all summer, and
Yeah,
you
you're
probably
probably
wouldn't be
right.
as bad.
You're
but
probably right.
I know when she gets that license, like I've said before, she's going to be gone.
right. Just disappear.
She's up to 22 hours driving.
Here's
right
what
now.
I need you to do, though. I need you to find out through Holly what happened to the peanut butter kid. Is all I need you to
yeah,
like.
I'll,
Okay.
yeah, I'll ask her tonight. I'll be like, "What?" So high school don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah,
you,
like-
you can fling peanut butter all over the school,
Dude, legit style.
My funny thing is, I didn't realize at the time how much Michelle Obama had an effect on these schools.
Yeah, and like implementing different like
Yeah,
lunchtime.
like you can only
programs.
get diet sodas.
Yep,
You can
yep.
only get. And it's like, wow, I did not realize that. I mean, it's
Do
a
they still
good
have the
thing.
square rectangular pizza with
No,
the two
no.
pepperonis?
There's a whole new school thing with that now. Everyone, maybe not here in Dearborn, but in District 7, they got some kind of school grant for food. Every kid can get free lunch now and free breakfast.
Oh wow.
Every kid. Holly still won't eat it because she's picky as ass. and
It's
she's gonna
funny
take it
because
home.
like and I had a conversation at work not too long ago, and we were talking about it. I am completely oblivious to hunger, Does that make sense?
Well, anyone can see the picture.
Yeah,
One of us,
that's the name of
and
the
no, we don't
podcast.
know what that means.
What I'm saying is, like, there are people that, like, legit style don't have, like, lunch. And I'm just like, in Dearborn and in Dearborn Heights. And I'm like, really? Like, who doesn't have lunches and stuff like that? Like, it just goes to show you my white privilege. I'm like, I don't understand.
Do you buy it totally?
Or you think someone's screwing up? Is that what you're implying?
You got shitty parents, first off. Probably doesn't give a fuck.
But it's not the kid's fault.
No, I mean, but I'm saying why they don't have the lunches, you know.
But I'm saying,
probably
like,
the shitty
it's-
parents don't care. Then there's other ones. Some of the kids probably don't want the lunch that the parents are giving them. That's a big thing. I know that's a big thing. We had kids.
I think you're with me. I think you're more oblivious to how
I
many
am a
people
little
struggle.
oblivious to it,
Yeah, I would argue that, like, you would probably see more people at a food pantry than me and you realize.
I would also argue that same parent will probably have an iPhone but can't give her kids lunches.
Oh,
yeah. So
Steve, the Trump School of Economics over
well,
here.
I've seen it in our own family.
wow.
I ain't got the money for that, Steven. But boy, look at that. Look at what
Your
you brought over
priorities
there.
are a little
yeah,
messed up.
priorities
I
get a
don't
little
know, man.
swished around sometimes in that washing machine of life.
Yeah. But I
So-
tell you, like I said, like you realize, like, there was someone at my job who had issues and I didn't realize. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was just, it kind of blew me
The
away.
thing that always, and to this day, kind of baffles me is when we were in school, Dad, family of five, what do you make? About 33,000 a year?
Let's say, yeah.
Yeah, raising five people, three
Yeah, but there
kids.
was
and
also
wife.
the 80s.
I know, but it's still, we struggled a little bit. We didn't have a lot, but we didn't do
No,
bad.
but I
But
didn't
I'm
want
wondering
for
what
nothing.
level of poverty you had to be because we never qualified for a free lunch. So what did you have to make? Like 10 grand a
Yeah,
year
I don't know,
to
man.
qualify for fucking free lunch at school?
Yeah, it's a reduced lunch.
Yeah, and now everyone qualifies. It's like, what? Me and Michelle make more than my dad ever made, but now she can get free lunch. I always find that funny.
But I think that's more, and back to, like you said, like coming to, like, not understanding the real world. Like, sometimes we're out of touch.
Mm-hmm.
You don't realize that, like I said, there's still people, like, I work with people who make, like, a housekeeping wage and have, like, multiple kids. And it's like, well, how the hell are you doing anything? You know what I'm saying? Like,
my boss brought up something funny the other day. He told me, people who do okay in the blue class, middle class.
first of all, your boss can't be telling you this because your boss is the reason why you're in the blue.
Yeah, well,
like-
no. His point is that people like us and him included, we're kind of selfish because we only have one kid each.
I agree.
He's like, so his theory is that if we weren't selfish, we would have had more kids and struggled a little bit more. The way I'm not putting it.
I would
right,
be
but-
curious to hear his thoughts behind it.
Yeah, he had a whole thought process behind it. It didn't make much sense, but but I just thought that was funny. I was like, if I was selfish, I wouldn't have had the one kid. That's
But what he's saying is, like, you're supposed to spread your joy to multiple beings, I guess is what he's trying to
Oh, we
say.
got 2 dogs.
Yeah, well, and he's saying that me and you were like one and got to get the hell out of this game. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's not just me and you. It's also Wiggs. It's also Bert. It's also a lot of us that we know. I mean, even Scott. I mean, so I just find I think if you were truly selfish, you wouldn't have had any kids, right? That's the thing I would say. But I don't know. I forgot what brought it up, but it kind of brought that up.
The thing is, I think what his point would be is, like, to not have multiple kids means you still worry about yourself more than you realize, or you're into yourself and your things, I guess.
Yeah, but at the same time, my theory was my daughter can have more if she's the only one. She could have.
But
her own
why do you
room.
want your daughter to have more? Because you didn't have, and that's your selfish thought.
Yeah, I guess.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Or I'm just looking out for her well-being, want to give her the best.
Dude, the problem is, man, kids are so expensive, man. And the minute you
$415 for a varsity
yeah,
jacket.
I mean, you realize real quick, and then, like,
Yeah.
quite frankly, like, I feel like in 2019, both parents have to work. You can't
Yeah.
do this whole, like, my mom stays home or my dad stays home. So then you have the factor of, like, daycares and all. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I mean, I got
It's
the benefit
crazy.
from Kim. You didn't even get that.
yeah,
You use
it's
a little, but not much,
Yeah,
right?
it is nuts, man. And even so, Heather being a teacher, we still struggle to cover when Lorna has half days and all this kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's interesting. But like I said, sometimes, man, we're out of touch, and I don't know what to do to correct it. I don't think I need to, but
I don't know how much out of touch we are, but You feel more than I am. I don't think so. I just know a lot of scumbags that fucking skirt the system quite a bit.
But that's not that's not the kid's fault. You can't project the kid's scum or the dad's scumbagness on the kid.
It's not just the dad.
You didn't
Sometimes
choose.
it's the mom too.
Yeah, but you didn't like, and like I said, we were lucky enough to have a dad that worked all the time. A mom had her issues, but like we didn't get to choose that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and no kid gets to choose the fucked up situation. We're
Right,
just
right.
born into it. But I think that, and I definitely would agree. Like, and just having the conversation, sometimes, man, you just don't even realize it. You're like, oh man, like, and I agree. A lot of it's self-inflicted. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's just pure situationally, but you don't realize it.
We're a little out of touch, but that's us. So if you want to get in touch with us, let's segue there. You can go to Apple's iTunes or Google Play, or of course, fatguyslittlepodcast.com, where you can catch all the latest podcasts, and also maybe give us some ideas for some retro reviews on Facebook or wherever you want to.
Yeah.
So we can get it. And next week we will, on BV's recommendation, maybe we'll get BV with us, some butter cakes. We'll try those
tell
out.
him he can join Haley to butter cake remotely.
They're small, so they won't hurt my diabetes that bad.
Okay. Apparently, BV didn't care.
Hey, funny story. No, he'll kill me. I'll tell you off the air.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
so until next week, this is Steve and
Charles.
we'll catch you next time.